right? And so, TA Ren, can you call the roll, please?
Yeah, Councilman James.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Yeah.
Councilman Nita. Mayor Monroe.
Here.
Councilman Ford here. And then Mayor Pro Tem Chu is.
I assume I haven't been wrong.
And then Councilwoman Amanda will be online, and she's already online.
Okay,
And she might say she might pop by.
Okay.
Oh.
No, she said she made copy. She's
Okay.
not online.
okay. Beautiful. All right, okay, let me see what's next. Let's start. Okay. Can we have a quiet, non-denominational prayer, please, a silent prayer? Pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll have approved. Do we have any minutes?
I apologize. I sent it out to you guys today, because of the Popeyes thing, as well as I have my deposition today. I just didn't have sufficient time to provide info.
You said you sent them out today?
Yes, so
Time.
earlier today, probably when I got back around 4:35.
I must have missed them. I just, okay, my bad.
But I apologize. I just didn't have sufficient time to get it to every time.
Okay. And where we are now is, approval of the agenda. Second?
Second.
Okay, any nays?
Nay.
Ayes have it. Okay. Meeting rules, TA Ren?
Rules for speakers. The mayor and council invite and welcome comments at public meetings. The mayor or chair will recognize you. Please introduce yourself at the podium. Spell your last name for recording purposes and give the name of your street and block number. Example, 4300 block of 34th Street. Time limits for speaking are indicated on the meeting agenda. While speaking, please maintain courteous tone and avoid personal attacks. If you wish to lodge a complaint about the performance or conduct of any town employee, please bring your concern to the attention of the town administrator, who will look into the matter and respond to you. As a courtesy to the other residents and businesses, the council requests that speakers not use specific addresses or name of individuals when describing a situation or making a complaint, unless the name or address is essential to understanding of the situation or complaint. Noting the block is preferred over a specific address. Code enforcement and public safety issues should be first brought to the attention of the appropriate department. Thank you.
Thank you, TA Ren.
Sorry, my voice is raspy.
Okay, TA Ren, we don't have to do it tonight because this is a full agenda. I'm really full. Can we, Councilwoman Anita requests that we put on the, next public meeting to go to closed agenda and discuss staff personnel.
Absolutely, no problem.
You'll go to closed session.
So this is regarding to basically old business, section 8, number 2, correct?
No, it'll be new business, because it's something, whatever she wants to discuss.
Sure.
No, it won't be on here. It's the next public meetings. We want to go to closed session.
To discuss.
Staff.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Public comment, Ms. Gibson. Oh, anything online? I got you, Councilwoman. Anything?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. Former Councilman Akers.
Thank you. Mayor Council.
You want to come up here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Y'all got me running, okay?
I can't call names, Mayor Council, you all did this problem, and I'm just gonna. I think that's me. I'll just, okay, so we did one. Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening, Stan. I just have a kind of an issue, with, wrongful information being disseminated by use of a council member's personal cell phone by text messaging to my personal cell. There's a town event that's gonna go on, and the town sent email blasts. We also have, flyers of this event that's going to go on. On Friday, I received, my personal cell phone, received a text message from a council member. And that's the copy that I gave you all to read. That's the text message that I received, where this council member, according to the flyer, it gave us all the information that we needed about this event. This council member was asking me if they could, tell me about the event, first of all, which I already know, but they were also asking me if they could book me for the event. Clearly on the, flyer, it says down here on the bottom in red, if you want to attend this event, you have to RSVP to the town. So I couldn't understand why I was interrupted in my work schedule by a text message from a council member asking if they could book me. There's no way that they could book me because clearly this flyer gave all the information that we needed. It gave the council members, if we need to contact them for questions, it gave their number. This particular number that this text message came from, it came from the name of Mayor Malton. So what you're reading is the text message was sent to me, and it was a copy of this flyer asking me. I text back to say this was sent to me. And then this is when this particular person mentioning this councilwoman here text me back with this information here. And I don't think that that was the right thing to do because we had already, you already approved the flyer. It's already out in the public. We know about the event. And I don't think that personally I should have had to have to be interrupted in a meeting on my job through a text message from the council. So from this particular council member. So I kind of wish the council member was here because maybe then they could defend themselves and say what actually happened. I don't know what happened, but I don't think that the town gives us equipment to work with. All of you have town phones. So if you're gonna text message any of the residents, it should be from your town phone, not your personal phone. So that's my issue is we're using personal phones to disseminate town events. And I think that's wrong. So I do request a apology from this council person. I'm sorry they're not here because I really would like to hear what happened on this end. So since I didn't get a chance to hear that, I will request an apology from this councilwoman for inconveniencing me. And that's it. I'm done.
You're for the floor? I mean, you want to know for answers?
The councilwoman is not here to answer, and I don't think it would be fair for anybody else to answer for the councilwoman. Because it didn't involve anybody else but that particular council person. So I have to wait to get an answer from that council person. The only thing I can ask, I guess, if you could I'm like, I guess maybe I'm using maybe a push word that maybe we can find out what actually happened. I would like to know what happened because it was an inconvenience for me. And it does involve a town event where a false dissemination of information was going out to our church place.
There was a response sent because one of the council members reached out with your concerns, so there was a response sent by electronically. But we'll hold off until you come back again. Okay?
Okay,
All
all
right.
right.
I'll say, she doesn't want to say respond. She's asking, I'm not getting this. I'm just saying.
All right, never mind. Yeah,
So that's not, you said no, you don't want a response?
I do, but the
Oh,
council.
so the councilman needed is part of that effort. Do you want to let her say, give a response?
Yeah, let's be.
One way, let's see, what is it now? Because 3 minutes out.
I know, that's
So,
let's
need
give
to
the
move
council,
on.
yeah.
So do you want to hear,
Yes,
you know, the floor to have Councilman Anita do a response?
I don't want to.
Because she's part of this effort.
Because the councilwoman really did not have anything to do with the wrongful dissemination of material. Her information on this flyer is her town hall information.
Okay,
She didn't send me that email.
well, okay.
I mean, text message.
All right, well, we'll wait until you come back and that particular councilwoman is here. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Councilman Ford. I'd just like to share that I'm grateful that we're getting messages out to our community, to our residents. However, if residents are signed up on our website for text, for email, or any type of communication, you may receive from time to time reminder emails about events that we're having. We've had several events where we've had several communications to go out. One was a text blast as well as email blast. Whatever communication that was left in the town system was used to give that reminder. I do understand our residents' concern about being text too much. And so maybe that is something that can be addressed by a town administrator. And thank you for bringing your concern to.
Thank you so much.
How you? And that is my comment.
Thank you. Okay, let's keep it moving. Tri-municipality MOU proclamation. Oh, it's Kyle, but I see we have Miss Brittany here.
Sorry, I feel like I'm not as special as Kyle.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And he did put in the message that you would be representing this. He did.
Yeah, Kyle brings you greetings. He has been in Rhode Island, this week for training around, walkability, sustainability, and smart streets and connections. So even though he is not here, he is still doing the work. Good evening. My name is Brooke Dreisberg, representing the capital market. And so thank you so much, Mayor Monroe and Council, for allowing me the opportunity, and also community members for allowing me the opportunity to provide an update and to also present you all with something from a really big event that we did about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So on Saturday, May 17th, the 20743 Coalition, which is a collaborative effort between the town of Capitol Heights, the city of Sea Pleasant, and the town of Fairmont Heights, to think about new ways to organize the 3 municipalities around shared opportunities and shared challenges, and really to pursue economic development in a collaborative way between the 3 towns. We had a really nice event. There were about 75 people in attendance of the event. It was a packed house at Fairmont Heights Town Hall. We also had remarks from several elected officials, including Delegate Jax Lewis. A representative from the county executive's office provided a proclamation to the municipality as well as a vice chair of the county council, Crystal Orieva, also provided some written remarks. And so with the May 17th event, it really signified the launch of something awesome. There was an article about the event and the work in Maryland Matters. I don't know if Kyle has shared that with you all, where people are really excited about the work that you all have been doing. So today, I will keep it brief, and share with you all the proclamation. So this is the signed proclamation. I'll note that the 3 municipalities entered into a formal MOU. This is not that MOU. This is just a ceremonial signing just to acknowledge the commitment that each of the municipalities will have together as we pursue development and greater future and an awesome future, as well as outstanding and bringing forward this historic legacy of our community. So I will just read it. So 20743 Proclamation, a declaration of unity, legacy, and shared purpose. Whereas the town of Capitol Heights, the town of Fairmont Heights, and city of St. Pleasant are municipalities with a proud legacy of diverse leadership, cultural excellence, and resilient communities along the Central Avenue Blue Line corridor in Prince George's County, Maryland. Whereas our communities share common histories, economic challenges, and opportunities for collective investment, equitable growth, and people-centered development. Whereas the need for coordinated action, intergovernmental partnership, and strategic vision has never been more urgent in the pursuit of justice, shared prosperity, and thriving neighborhoods. Whereas our municipalities affirm that we are stronger when we work together, listen together, and lead together on behalf of the people we serve. Now therefore be it resolved that on this day, Saturday, May 17th, 2025, we, the undersigned elected leaders, do hereby proclaim the formation of the 20743 Coalition, an intergovernmental alliance committed to advancing policies and projects that center resident voices and uplifting community wealth, promoting cultural heritage, healthy environments, and sustainable development, leveraging our collective power to pursue resources, partnerships, and investment, and creating mechanisms for shared governance and planning across our jurisdiction. Be it further proclaimed that this coalition stands as a living promise to our constituents to honor our past, act boldly in the present, and build a future grounded in equity, kinship, and pride and faith. Finding unity at Fairmont Heights Town Hall, Prince George's County, Maryland, and the undersigned are Mayor Linda Monroe, the town of Capitol Heights, Mayor Akiva Stewart, Mayor of the town of Fairmont Heights, and Mayor Kelly Porter of the city of Seattle. So this is Will's proclamation. We hope that you all will hang it proudly throughout the building. We also have another gift that I left at home at the office. I apologize. So we did print out a banner. It was a pull-up banner. If you attended the event that we created for this town of Capitol Heights, that is you all, that we are gifting to you all. And I should have brought it today so y'all can see what it looks like, but I just wanted to acknowledge that. And then finally, with the proclamation, the other thing that we did, we had community members sign a separate agreement. And that agreement was the way in which other stakeholders and residents are also vowing to show up, right? So that you all don't feel like you're in this alone. Other community members are also responsible for supporting the coalition and also for supporting the work that you all are doing as mayor and council meeting. So
Thank you.
All right. Take a picture.
Oh, very good, Brittany, very good.
Thank you. Thank you. And the chef had a picture.
Yes,
we can thank her for the moment to the picture. That's all right.
okay. No, I didn't want to be as well. Oh, she blocked the.
Do you want to stand behind him? Oh, that's perfect. That's actually perfect. Thank you. One, two. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was to the back. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
And I will also send you all photos from the event.
Okay, we have a lot of those. We have a lot of them.
No, I'm sorry, that's fine.
Ford has, Councilman Ford, what's now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I took some pictures, but I think, Councilman Floyd might not have smiled. No, he was working on work. No, he wanted to get a picture.
Oh, there is taking up a store.
Oh, yeah. Because he was working on something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for the.
Okay, so now, Argos Penrose update? Are they on?
Let me check. Oh,
Let's keep it moving.
they're not on.
Dennis,
They're not on.
I know you sent them a link.
Yes?
Okay, we'll double back. Standing committee report. I will go, but I'll go down the road, Mayor Pro Tem.
Um,
It's kind of,
we have the safety, committee, safety committee. Wanna come back? Yeah, I'm kind of thin, because I'm actually, going to be out of town for our next safety committee, and I'm going to have council member Williams lead the meeting. It's, the fourth Thursday of the month, and I think they posted it incorrect on our website. They have the actual meeting for next Thursday, which is not correct. It should be the fourth Thursday of every month there. And I would love to make sure, and I would have the agenda in a minute from our last meeting, ready. I would really appreciate if our police department has a representative there, because last meeting we had, Officer Corporal Jackson. And he was really, really instrumental in answering some questions and giving the residents that were there a lot of good information on some of their concerns that they had. It's really good to have someone from the police department there, but they had some really good questions. So our plan, just to let the residents know, we plan to distribute our lights in the month of July. I will be reaching out to council if they want to volunteer with us. But we will be knocking door to door, and the reason why I say knocking door to door is for the council to really get to know and understand our residents as we, go through town with this distribution. Because during the sidewalk project, I spoke to several of our residents there and got some really good information and good feedback. And I think it's necessary for us as a council to engage with our residents as we move along with different projects and infrastructure projects that we have out here in the community. And I didn't want to go deep into the sidewalk because I see you have me on for new business. So I'll discuss the sidewalk information at that time. I yield. Okay.
Thank you. I would like to be put on the agenda for the fourth Monday, the communication site, the community engagement and sustainability committee meets on the second Thursday of every month. The meeting has been changed from 6:30 to 7:05. I do invite folks that are interested in sustainability for a community engagement and to attend the meetings. So I would like to present on the fourth, our next public meeting, so that I can bring the information to the meeting. And on fourth, I would like to present us to get activities. What's this? Yes. Well, I guess we have standing committee here, because I'm glad that you don't just get into public policy and separately. But therefore, I will be the grant. Actually,
Councilwoman Anita?
Yes, the clean work program that's going on. We have been getting some inquiries, for the we consider the applying for that. Also, we remind people that this, third Sunday, 34th Sunday, third Sunday of this month, we will have a food giveaway. Fourth Sunday, we will not be here because we'll be out at the conference. But fifth Sunday, we will be here. So third and fifth Sunday of this month, for the month of March, we will be giving, during the food distribution.
It's just one session.
So that's what I feel. Yeah, okay. Councilman Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't put it this time, the Department Safety Committee, share all the good ideas, so I need, thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, Councilman James? Okay. All right, well, that leaves me. I will report on economic development from the, standpoint of what's going on. And we have our representatives here tonight, but that's not what I'm gonna talk about. I just want to say that, I just wanted to say that a couple of things happened that I think are very, very good. One is, I had about a month or so ago, reached out to Councilwoman Krista Oriata, and I told her, I actually saw her. I told her that we may have a shortcoming with our renovations, and she said, by how much? Oh, she said, by how much? And I said 300K, and that's when she told me, I saw her a week, the day before she told TA Ren, I saw her at an event. And she said, I got good news for you, and that's when she said, I got the 300,000. I actually had forgotten that I asked her about it. And she said, I got the 300,000. I mean, and I was elated because, she's done a lot for the town. And that's the second time she's given us 200K, she's given us 100K, and now this is,
I'm there, here you go. I'm there, all right.
Okay, got it.
All
okay.
right,
Oh, please, we're in session.
yes.
Can you mute yourself?
Oh.
Thank you. And so 300. So she's given us in the last couple of years, not, I wouldn't say given us, she's supported and got the funding for us, same thing, and to the tune of 600K. And considering a town that legislators were invisible to a lot of legislators, I am, along with the council, I know the council, we're all very appreciative and very grateful for that, for the funding. Another thing that's happening that is really, really good, I've been working with, Redevelopment Authority for the last year. I've been working with 3 different executive directors since June of 24 in an effort to do something with 29 Bayou. We all know where that white tent is, and that land that I'm talking about is worth $2.5 million. And that was the assessment on that property. But anyway, finally, the RFP has gone out today. It's on the website of Redevelopment Authority. I'm just looking for y'all that might want to look at the RFP. I have some here that you can pass out and look at the RFP that went out. So, okay, wait. Let's start this. So that's very, very good news. And I was going to show you something else. Oh, this is what's on their website. So, really good news for us. For the ones who said it's never going to happen, it is happening. It is happening. And if once we get those RFPs in, they're running neck and neck with the RFPs we have for the $19 million infrastructure improvement for Capitol Heights Metro. So both of those bids are out now. So we are going to see a lot of development in this town. It's not as much as a lot of other municipalities have, but considering we haven't had anything in 30, 40 years, it's a new day in this town. One more thing I wanted to pass out to the council. It's that there's a groundbreaking ceremony that I've been invited to attend by Delegate Lewis. And I'm just looking at how everything's happening around us, but not really for us on the Blue Line corridor. I do have some issues with that. And this is for Park Place, Addison Road Metro. It is like a $96 million effort. We can't even get 5 million to get something done. So I do take issue with this thing at the Metro, but I'm going to go there I'm gonna go there on behalf of the town because I've been asked to attend. But I just look at development happening all around us, and it just doesn't happen for us. Well, of course, it gets some. So anyway, I just want to say that, and I thank you, and I'll keep the agenda moving. So now we have, Argos Penrose update.
He's got the police.
He's not here, so do you want to report one, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, okay.
How y'all doing? I'm Sergeant Loud, police officer, Capitol Heights Police Department, if you don't know. I've been informed by Chief Magassouba to discuss the current hiring situation that we have. Currently, we have one young man, I think about 23 years old, by the name of Loud Beaver. He's currently in the academy, he's striving to get a lot of different reports on him. And we're really excited about that. We also are in the process of hiring a Fairfax County Sheriff. He's been a sheriff for about 6 years. He is currently moving to Capitol Heights. His significant other lives on Lawrence Avenue. And I just got the results of his psychological exam, which is pretty good. And so we're moving that along. I project that he will be hired in probably less than 30 days. And so, in terms of him being hired in less than 30 days, the only thing that he has to complete by Maryland standards is what we call a preparedness compliance. It's not a full academy. It's about a 60 program. It's usually as fast as it's objective based by the Maryland Police Training Commission. And, we have no reservations about that. On top of that, we do have a copious influx of applications coming through in terms of new officers that really want to join the department. It's been more so, I think, contingent upon, I guess, the, whatever the finalized budget will be for the new fiscal year come July will serve as our guide as far as how we can hire. So I guess we stand by on that. That's that.
Excuse me, there was a councilwoman, she doesn't want to interrupt you, but she has a question saying she can get it.
Oh, you're good, minister, questions. Yes, okay.
Thank you.
I know. I got you. Yeah, and I feel
We don't speak though.
that's. No, I got you. Appreciate that. But, outside of that, that's where we are in terms of hiring. Obviously, once we get that moving, that'll actually aid to the amount of officers on the streets, and we can definitely increase the presence, because we're very now making sure citizens in the Capitol Heights are being protected, and we take that very seriously. Outside of that, that's all I have. If anybody else has any questions for me.
Councilwoman Tree.
Yes, ma'am.
I know the chief is not here, but I did have a conversation with him. There's a lot of activity going on around our town that's kind of impacting our town indirectly. And I was wondering if we can sit down maybe in one of our safety meetings and kind of address a lot of the issues that some of the residents are having from the areas that are actually adjacent to the town. And maybe we can come up with some type of solution or meet with the commander at District 8, District 8, and see if they can help out and clear up some of these issues that they're not here.
Give me know, I'll make sure we get set up.
Okay.
Thank you for your report. Thank you.
But after you were going before, so that's for I get to know the question. And thank you for your report.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll keep it moving, so now we have, it's clean, it's moving on. Okay, so we have, Argos Penrose. I see Dennis Cotto,
And,
who's going to start, Dennis?
I'll start. Good evening, Mayor, and the council. Wanted to follow up on an email that we had requested we had sent to you on May 20th regarding some grant money that's available for the project, and we wanted to take advantage of it. It's about our request is $750,000, which obviously is significant for the project. It's a DHCD application I think that it's called the CRP application, which the town has I guess, experience in applying for. Anyway, we wanted to share some more details on what that means for the project. And I guess I'd hand it over to Patrick, Pat, to give you some more details on what that grant would entail. Pat?
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you, as always, for having us. Before I give a little more detail on the application, as seen in the last monthly report, about 3 weeks ago, we submitted the 9% application into the state. So, as you recall, we submitted one at the end of 2023. These are set funding rounds, and we've been waiting for them to publish it again. And that it was due on May 16th. So the application went in. It scores very well. It scores about 8 points higher than it did last time we submitted it, because we're able to build a larger building, pretty much in short, to oversimplify. And so we feel really good about that application and the conversations with the state and their support, especially directly from the Secretary of Housing, which we've updated you on before. So that was a big milestone, and we should be hearing back about that award for the 9% credits later this summer. The state doesn't give a lot of detail on exactly when they make decisions, but as soon as we know something, we'll share it with you. In that application, we did request a lot of state money. And what I think would happen is, if we're successful in getting these grants, we're going to apply for $750,000 for each project. So the 9% project and the 4% project. If you recall, there's 2 projects in that one building. So that would be good for another $1.5 million, which I believe would alleviate some of the other state resources that we requested in our application. But that application, the 9% application we just submitted, was balanced budget. So if we're awarded, we will have secured all the funding for the project to move forward, and we'll continue going after additional funding sources like this as we're able to. So the application, the SRP application, it's still to Maryland DHCD. It's a different kind of department than the tax credit department. And I believe the town has submitted one before. It's an online application through DHCD's website. And there's we have a comprehensive list, but there's a few items that would be needed from the town as the formal applicant for the funding. So if you recall that it's mostly local jurisdictions that can apply for this funding. So what the town I believe has done in the past and would do again is email DHCD. They would set up the application. They would give you access. They would give us direct access so we can complete the application with ample time for the town to review it, and then we can submit it before the July 2nd deadline. So we're doing a number of these across several projects. We submit these every year. They're not overly complicated, and they're going to be relatively easy to complete, given we just submitted a full tax credit application that was a lot more involved and has a lot of the same exhibits. So like I said, what we're here to request tonight is that the town would support and initiate these grant applications as a local municipality that is approved to apply for these grant funds. And then, much like the last time we spoke with the town about a prior funding opportunity, these would be grants from the state that would go to the town, in which the town would then lend the money on terms essentially similar to a grant, into the project to help make, the Capitol Heights Metro TOD project that we've been talking about with you more possible. So I think that's probably enough information for right now. And I'm, of course, happy to take any follow-up questions about the application or where we are with the project at this point.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're okay? I'm gonna open the floor to council. Okay? So you're done, right? You're ready for opening the floor for questions now?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Chu.
One of my concerns is, and I say this every time you guys come and present to us about applications and trying to find funding. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, but you come to us with this excitement every time you apply for funding, and for some reason you don't get awarded the funding. And I think, can you confirm, is this the fourth or the fifth time that you actually came to our meeting to give us information about funding that you need for the project? And I just feel kind of hesitant because I was a part of, wait a minute, let me finish. I was a part of the last administration, and we went through a lot. And I feel like, and I don't know if this politically correct, but I feel like we are being held hostage because right now we continue to give you space to find funding for the project. And then every time you come to us, you want us as the town to apply for a grant and whatever the grant is, and then give you the money as a loan. But to me, if you're getting a grant, why would we loan you money? I don't know the process. I don't really understand it. But right now, I don't know. And I think the council, we may want to go into speaking with our attorney, because I think we're pushing this out too far. We're probably going into our 9th year now. And I think that's a little too far. I know economic development takes a while, and it takes a while to get started, but 9 years I think it's a little too much. I yield. You, yes, I yield.
Do you wanna answer that one?
How do I answer that? I mean, that does, we're asking for money that every local municipality understands, that it's available to get this project completed. So I don't understand. I mean, how do we've already explained the availability of this grant money. Other municipalities have never had an issue. I think Patrick has laid out the fact that they've done multiple, requests for this money, other projects with other municipalities with no issue. So I don't know how to explain it any further than that.
Okay, let's move forward.
Yes, well, thank you for presenting. I think you hit on the nose when you said you're not sure how to provide any further information. Maybe educating us in terms of the process and what the holdup is with our expectation and our conversations over the last several years. That would be very helpful. And I know what I do recall hearing all the time about applications being submitted and your score increasing. And sometimes that is a challenge to be able to process. And what I want to hear is, okay, with this happening, this is what it will result. This will be the result based on your expectation. Maybe giving a little more education in terms of what you can understand and our residents would understand, when are we going to break ground?
Yeah,
What else are we waiting for? How does this look? It's kind of simplified it.
yeah. Well,
Excuse me, sir, please, respectfully, when someone is talking, they have the floor. No one interrupted you when you had the floor. So I respectfully ask that you refrain and let that person talk, and then I will give you the floor. Is that okay?
Yes, Mayor, of course.
Okay, thank you. Now, finish up. Okay.
And so that would help us tremendously. And when you say other municipalities, they understand, maybe you can let us know how you worked with other municipalities. Maybe how long did it take to work with other municipalities? Giving us a little more details like that, walking us through it versus just telling you want to submit an application. I know that's your field of expertise, but I think we need a little more simplified answers. Thank you. And you.
Okay, now, Mr. Cotto, do you want to respond?
Yes, and Pat could follow up. I think one, obviously, this is the second time that we've applied for a 9% application. Let me just make that clear. And then secondly, we've been providing the town, the mayor and the town, monthly updates on where we are, in terms of how we've been securing financing for the project, which is almost complete. And I think Pat just mentioned that the financing is almost complete. But this is a type of project and business. We're not making a dime. This type of business where we identify all the available grant monies to ensure that the financing is secure as we've reached out to all of these financial sources. So I like to focus on actually securing the money rather than revisiting history. And we're so close to securing the financing. And I think, maybe Pat, I don't know if you can elaborate a little bit more on I guess what your experience has been with the other municipalities and the process and how this could be, beneficial to,
Okay. Thank you, sir. And just so you know, if Dennis or whomever wants to speak, they have to be not recognized by you, recognized by the floor.
Okay, understood.
I chair it. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilwoman Lee? Councilwoman Lee?
Thanks for the presentation. Just a quick question. What's the total value monetary of this grant that's in town to kind of back? I need to.
He yields for an answer.
Pat, do you want to address that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? It was kind of spotty.
What's the total value of this grant that you want your town to back when this relevant project?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So, as you recall, we have the 9% project and the 4% project, and they're actually two separate financing structures entirely. Although they're in one building, it looks like one building, one project. But because of how the state likes to couple 9% credits and 4% credits, there's actually two separate projects. So the state likes to give these grant awards in a certain amount of money. They don't like to give too much to one project. So in our experience, a good strategy here is to actually submit two grant applications, one for the 9% portion of the building and one for the 4% portion of the building. And that makes the amount we're asking for look more palatable to the state. And that amount is going to be $750,000 per project. So a total of $1.5 million. Now, the 9% application we just submitted, you have to show a balanced budget. So within that budget, we showed the funding that we have already secured from Prince George's County, which is a total of, I believe, $8.4 million that they've committed. They've also committed several project-based vouchers, and all of that has helped make a square deal. That said, we are requesting nearly $10 million in funding along with the tax credits from the state of Maryland, which is a lot. And these grants would go to, I believe, offset part of that request to CDA, who administers the SOF funding and the tax credits. So it's going to be, it's a way to secure more diverse state funding and keeps the funding requests, which in today's environment is very hard to do, under their mandatory maximums. It's just think about if it's still money from the state, but it's coming from a different department within the state, and that helps keep everybody under their mandatory maximums for how much they want to fund. But I want to reiterate, if the state awards the 9% credits to this project, we are moving full speed ahead at that point. That is a huge funding commitment. It makes or breaks these projects. And as I said, our score has increased significantly this year due to a number of factors. And that's huge. Then we're going to be engaging DPI and park and planning and really rolling this thing forward. We'll be able to schedule out a closing date, and we'll be able to tell everybody when we think we're going to actually start construction. So this is a really big moment for the project, being in and under review for the 9% credit, which again is really what makes or breaks this. So I guess that's a yield with that.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you for that response, but the school, the project received was what I didn't catch that. The score, is it private, yes, I'm not sure. I yield for that today.
Okay. He said, what was the score you received for the project? Is that what that's?
Yeah.
Okay. So in short, the state prioritizes a number of things. One of the things they prioritize is the construction of large units, and that portion of the application is for family housing. And I know that the town has put a big priority on building high density at the site, but also building units for families. So here the state and the town are aligned, and they're aligned with us. So our understanding of the site and the current zoning that was over the site in 2023, we could only build 120 total units, and they weren't large enough to qualify as family housing in the state's scoring in the application. By making the building slightly taller, expanding the footprint a little bit, after having done more engineering work at the project, we were able to build 146 units of much larger units geared toward families. And that portion of the application is worth 8 out of 200 points. So what happens was last year, our application, and the state verified this, scored about 178. The lowest awarded application last year was 182.6. And this year, our application with a similar size application pool scored over 186. So we are scoring more than 8 points what we scored in 2023. And we're now scoring more than 3 points higher than the application cutoff in the last round. So nobody knows what the cutoff is going to be this year, but I feel some good comfort in those numbers. And we worked very hard to, squeeze every point out of that we could to give the project its best chance this year.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Jennings?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, Patrick. My question was answered.
Okay.
Council member Ames.
Okay. Go ahead, Tia.
I have a quick question, okay? I understand that you did all this and it's awesome and so forth, but what happens if you don't get a grant? Because you said this 9% credit is under review at this point in time. I'm sorry, my voice is gone. So you capitalized it, but is it, you said that basically makes or break the deal. So I don't want to be a downer, but what happens if you don't get it? Do you have a contingency plan regarding to what happens when you don't get it? Also, you said you work with other municipalities. How successful were they? And can you give me some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. So the make or break is really the 9% credit. The two grant applications that we're asking the town to assist and support with this evening they're not the make and break. It's that's for an additional $1.5 million. And if you want to think about the state agency as like your grandparents or something, and instead of asking one set of grandparents for a whole bunch of money. We're asking a larger number of people for less, even if that's within the state agency. So again, that's what makes it more palatable, and they have maximum funding limits they can give. And so this $1.5 million, if we get these grants, will go to keep those other requests from the state that we just made in the 9% application under, and I should say, more comfortable amounts for the state agency to give. In terms of the contingency plan, this really is the second part of our contingency plan. So we met with the Secretary of Housing, who makes the decisions on which projects get the 9% credit. Last August, we laid everything out for him. He said he absolutely loves the project, and he was disappointed it didn't get funded in the last round. And he stopped, not too short of saying that it would be funded. And what he asked us to do, if you recall, was to submit a 4% application in the fall that covered the whole building. And when the 9% credit goes away and you replace it with the 4% credit, you have an even bigger funding gap. And he encouraged us to do that because he liked the project so much. And then he also encouraged us to submit, again, a 9% application, which is what just went in last month. So this was part of a two-part plan that we came up with, with input from people high up at the housing agency to move the application forward.
I'm gonna have to cut you because we are really past the scheduled time. And I say this with respect, but I'm trying to keep my agenda. So TA Grant and Pro Tem has something you want to do another question. I'm asking you to make your answers more brief, please. TA Grant.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I still don't know what your contingency plan is. I know you talked to the secretary and give you some good advice. What are some solid contingency plans? If I don't get this is my next round, I'm gonna get this money from here. What are those specifics? You don't have to answer it today, but I would like to know what is the actual contingency plan. Other than the fact that you have promises, assurances from folks similar to like the grandparent situation. I want to know what the actual contingency plan is. If you do not get the 9% or 4%. As Mayor Pro Tem said, we've been ongoing for this for the last 8-9 years. So is this going to be another year, another 2? And again, I would like to know what other success stories you have working with other municipalities, and I want exact examples. Okay, that's it.
And as opposed to this going on and on, because we have other presenters tonight, I would ask TA Ren, can you draft the questions from the council and you, and we will send them to Mr. Patrick and Dennis, Mr. Cotto, Mr. Bateman, and they can provide the answers. We need to close out on, because their main thing tonight is they want to know about the grant. And Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll speak after you. Okay.
I just have one question about the grant. Is the grant that you're asking us to support the 9 and 4%, is this a grant that we must use our funding first and then they reimburse us for the money that we use for the project? For instance, if we get the grant, every time we spend money, they will reimburse us, meaning that we will be using our own money and then we will submit paperwork and documents to be refunded for the money that we spent up into the total amount of that grant. I yield.
Okay, can you answer that briefly? Because if you remember, we went through this exercise about 2 months ago. It's the same thing, it's the same type grant. So the question is it reimbursable? Yes or no?
Yes, but we would not expect the town to fund any money into the project until they receive it from the state.
Let me put it another way. The way this grant works, based on the last one you put in, we apply for the grant. And which is, we couldn't, semantics, we couldn't agree on whether the loan, we could use the word loan or not. Okay, But the bottom line is, we apply for the grant and then we loan it to you at 0%. That was the problem. So what we did was we reached out to the attorney. And the answer was, if something happens and you do not use that money for what it was intended for, through no fault of your own, there's a problem. Are we on the hook for that money? So we did give that to the attorney. And the attorney responded that he did not really see anything negative in the town doing that. I'm just trying to be fully transparent with you on this. However, the council did not fully support that. And so I say to you, you cannot force something if they did not support it voting wise. That is where it stands. It's not about what other municipalities did, it's what you're trying to get from the town of Capitol Heights. And you do not have full or majority vote on what you're trying to do. So that's why I encouraged you to present it again to the council, because I don't vote on these matters. And I don't know if the council is going to give you what you need in a matter of days or a few weeks. I don't know that, but you have put it out. But it will not help the case to say what other municipalities did, because we're only dealing with the town of Capitol Heights. So if this is reimbursable, somebody's money has to be used up front. Would that be, and if you don't have the money, that's why you're trying to get us to take out or apply for the grant. How are you going to have the money to use up front? That's what Mayor Pro Tem is saying. Are we supposed to expect it to loan you in the form of giving you 200,000 here, 200,000 here? Is the town supposed to do that?
May I respond?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I think what Pat mentioned was that the town is not obligated or responsible to give any money to our team until you receive it. You're not loan, there's no money coming out of your coffers. The money goes to the town, the grant goes to the town. Once it's received, then that money is structured some way, some form of, zero interest loan for the Capitol Heights project. That's
not
it.
reimbursable. He said yes. He said yes. That's not reimbursable. Most grants are reimbursable. You have to spend it, submit your whatever, receipt, invoice. And then they pay you the money back. We deal with that all the time. That's why she asked you that. So are you sure? Because you're saying they're going to give us $750K, which is possible, but most grants don't work that way. You have to, but yeah, that's how most grants work. So I'm going to ask you, and I have to end it with this. Is that a definite yes or no?
I'm going to have to find out for sure.
So you don't know. And that's a fair answer. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And what we will do, because I've given you 35, we went way over time. And like I said, we have other speakers. And I know this is important to you. This is important to us. But when we have public meetings, we have to stick to an agenda, which we have not done. And it's not fair to our other presenters. So I asked you if you want to go into more detail to arrange an in-person meeting or virtual with the full council, a special meeting that focuses on this. Is that fair? We could also do a special meeting and you just have your time. But right now, we're going to have to cut it. So thank you. And TA Rin, you're going to send them the email with all the concerns. And it may help with what you're trying to do with your grant. As Councilman Ford said, a little bit more understanding. If you answer that, and maybe we can give you a quick answer on what you're trying to do. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
What we have now is, are we down to old business town hall? Yes. Okay, you're on. Finally, huh? All right, can you tell us who's gonna be presenting with you tonight?
Yes, I'm Gayll Worsley. I am the architect of W Architecture Group. And I also have two sons and piece of this. This is a contractor. But yes, for the police station.
But I don't want to know.
As well. He's the contractor for the police station. So,
And online?
and online, we have Andre Williams and Mr. Max, who are the owners. I think I'd like to start with, we have two projects running. I'll start with the town hall, and then I'll bring Tucson and we pull those at the police station. So currently, I submitted to the mayor and to Ren, council, and 50% set for the town hall. So we are really actually probably more like 70% actuality, but we're at the 50% mark, so now Martha did as a proposal. And so where we are is we're starting to develop the finishes, the interior layout. We are doing things like stair sections, drainage, stuff that's not really fun for you guys, but, we've done, the electrical, potted alcohol, and the electrical outlets, we've done, general furniture layout, we've done some egress plans, things like that. But those will be further developed in final state for Penrose submission, which we are probably, during your question, not a founder, probably about 2.5 weeks away from the final vote. So it's really gonna speed up from this point forward, but 50% is kind of like, all the heavy lifting and figuring out the guts. And then it kind of speeds up from that point forward for the submission. For the police station, we're about at the same point. I don't know if you guys recall, I'll back up a little bit. We went from a 1-story addition to a 2-story addition. We had an investigation done with several engineers. The foundation assessment, soil and sediment erosion. So the report is a technical report. Thankfully, that's a good soil. 25 PSF. The footing wasn't bad at all. And working with the structural engineer to create a foundation, which is the most expensive way to underpin another building. We're doing some additional support in the fall phase, which will allow us to, have us avoid having to underpin the whole entire building. Okay. But we do have to do some foundation work. It's not a freebie building. It's definitely a lot less expensive than the underpinning. So you have a solid building over there. Thankfully, got enough power. And we are working with the structural engineer with the framing. We also have an MEP engineer. Looks like the similar leadership. Your wall about everything that. We have an elevator contractor. We're trying to do one for both buildings. Engineers are looking at elevator machinery, equipment. And so right now, we are trying to push our engineers to finish off. So we look at invoices where we are along with our own, we're pushing the project forward. We want to get this to finish line as soon as possible. In terms of the permitting, they're going to take two very different paths. Well, not very different, but they're slightly different paths. For the police stations, if we are not serving anyone, the project will remain within the files. It will not go, it doesn't have to go necessarily to, it'll go as a formality to, now parts of planning. But since there's no earth disturbance, they're not interested. For the town hall, obviously, for things there, and we will go there and parts of planning. That is the only kind of positive where which we don't have a lot of control with. They are their own things, they are the zoning folks, they do it in their own, it's a volume based. It's within line, they do them, so it just depends on who you have, how many projects are there. But we are definitely going to push as far as much as we can, but right now, the team is kind of waiting for us to give them the funding to push that line. And I will turn over the detail of your presentation. If you have it, you set up two slightly different contracts. I'm working directly with town having this town hall, and I'm working with the contractor. So, two-story addition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, two-story addition.
How much the room? Okay.
Yes. So just two stories all.
It's 2 stories here.
Oh, right, okay. And we do have the Boys and Girls Club on the top floor. Really great kind of flex space. It'll be classroom space, you can do for dance classes, art classes, study halls. We use by young adults. It allows you a lot of flexibility, a lot of putting a specific program into the Boys and Girls Club. With that utility. We
Shut aside the first thing. If you said that the mayor will not disturbing the one, so you don't do a permit.
we need a permit, we don't need to go to Maryland Capital Tax and that.
So you don't be which is B5.
No, they're two different agencies.
All right.
Yes, so Maryland Capital Parks and Planning is kind of like Maryland zoning commission. When we every disturb with the dirt, they would want to put the building, look at how the runoff is going. For the slide and drainage, we have all kinds of other, factors when you're disturbing the earth. As opposed to when you're just doing addition, the footprint is the same, you're not really creating any difference in the runoff, so like that.
And so just the buildings, so it's a buildings, houses.
They didn't use houses as well, like if you're doing residential house, they would look at it, sometimes they'll recommend, for residential, we have like rain barrel, or things like that.
Thank you. You're gonna come back up and you guys do this.
Yes,
all that, yes.
yes.
Okay.
Sure. Hi, everybody.
Well, we got probably know what you know is.
Yes, so, I'm working with Inter Services, where the general contractor for the police station, and I work with them handling, numerous positions. For, so we have just been, we've been hired, we've been working on with Gayll to take this project moving forward. We have, typically, I don't know how much detail you all want me to go into now, but, we have been here operating, I feel as though in very good faith with you all putting a good effort forward to move this project along. We have, come out of pocket, to move this project along. We have, forced the Gayll, numerous accounts, numerous projects. And, we have, also in the parking lot, for there, we have placed the trailer, we have placed the fence. We have help with the signs, we've mobilized in terms of, sort of payments. And we are a little frustrated because we've been met with, certain, scrutiny, certain accusations and things that we feel question our integrity, question who we are, question our character. And we have been, our end, we have been consistently, which, if there's anything different, we would love to hear that. But we have, consistently operated and tried to move this project along. Where normally, and we understood the town, we want to work with the town, we understood that, we're trying to do this on a tight budget, on a limited budget, which we knew that coming into. We are more than happy to be here. We want to build a lasting relationship. And we felt on our end, we have done things to show you all that we're operating in good faith. Where normally in another position, we would be involved. We would be involved for a lot of things. A normal relationship would be that we would get things, like mobilization or different things, in which we have said, okay, you know what, let's work, let's mobilize, we cover calls, so that they still have numbers for, certain costs to be covered in order to move this project forward. So, only on our end to be met with certain things, and then when we're asking for certain invoices to be to certain questions. So on our side, it's it is a little frustrating. We want to work with you all. We feel as though we have been, operating in the best of ways, doing things even outside of the scope, putting up signs, things like that. We are more willing to help and do things because we believe in the town, we believe in the vision, and we want to be here to help. You know, and some of these smaller, smaller things that we're talking about are very minuscule when we start to actually structure can be much larger than this is, you know. So on our end, that's kind of where we are to, if I can go into, more, like, I don't know how much details, we should go into.
Well,
I'm sorry, I think it's name, yeah, I'm sorry. My name is Tucson.
okay, well, let's put the, is, I want all the presenters to go first unless they just want to address what the issue is. Some of their invoices are six weeks old. They have not been paid because I cannot get anybody to sign off on the checks. And so I'd like all the questions to come in because this is impacting the work on the development. It's really a big deal at this point because they cannot get all the information they need because people are not being paid. And I've seen evidence where they're coming out of pocket to pay because the town, for a small amount, will not sign. We cannot get the checks out. So I asked them to present because this is almost going to end up in a work stoppage. So I'm trying to get the check signers or whomever does not want to sign the checks for whatever reason to get clarity. So we all know what the issue is. And I'm giving everybody respect. I'm giving the council the same respect I'm giving you to see what the problem is, because we have got to get them paid, because these contracts are over $1 million each. And what they're asking for is like $15,000. I mean, well, one is 30 something, but it's not huge money. Because you're gonna get big money, you have to. And so we're gonna have to work this out at a smaller level because they have to keep this job moving. And now they're like 6 weeks behind, people not wanting to give them the information they need. All this is putting us behind. So do you wanna let the owner speak and then,
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem wants to talk after that. We wanna give it to the floor. Can you let him speak
Absolutely.
on what his thoughts are? Who's on there? Is it, Mr. Williams? Who's on? Mr. Williams? Who's on that wants to speak?
I'm on. I don't need to speak. Tucson did good.
Okay, he's, where's Mr. Pendergrass? He wrote an involved email. Okay,
He was on. He might have had to step away
okay,
because the time went over when we thought it was.
okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, so one of the things that I asked for, at one of our meetings was to provide a schedule. And regardless whether we have a project manager or not, when we dealing with a project, it has to be a schedule, because there's no way without a schedule, you would know what your cost overrun is. You won't know whether or not you're behind. You won't know whether or not you're on schedule. And those things are very, very important. And sometimes you don't need a project manager for that. Sometimes the construction company or the company that you hire will have their own project plan because it's a timeline. And here it tells you your task, your deliverables, how long it takes, the start, the end date. And this is how you track it to say, oh, we're behind. Because if we had something like this, I think we will be more susceptible to signing those checks because we would know where you are. And I can give a good example. For the NSD lot on Old Central Avenue, it's taken us almost 9 months just to get pavement done on that lot. We was told that a permit was sent out to DPOT in March. DPOT responded with 2 questions on May the 8th. I don't even know if the project, I don't know if the contractor for that lot even went back in to check the status of the permits. Because if you go back and check the status of the permits, you'll know that there's 2 questions that needed to be answered. And they asked for an additional question on June the 6th, which was last Friday, from the fire reviewer. So these are the things that we look at, because if we contract and you guys to do a service for us and you're waiting for permits, I'm thinking every 30 days you go and find out where your permit, It's been 30 days, I haven't heard anything. We know DPI is slow, but at the same time, to go back and check, to say, hey, look, we got this project going, we're under constraints, you know, how do you, and then when we ask, when you send an invoice to us to say, hey, look, we're in the next phase of this project, we need you to pay us this, this, and that, but we still looking for permits and stuff from DPI, and then when we call DPI saying, hey, we still waiting for a response. And even if you responded, you go back to DPI and say, hey, no, we responded, this is the information we gave y'all. You should have that. I mean, it's just, I feel like we're in a position where we're in the blind. And I know you guys are doing work behind the scenes, but when you have an actual schedule, it tells us this is going to take 6 weeks to complete. So we know, don't come to us in the 4th week because you have it in the schedule. It takes 6 weeks to complete. Now, if it takes 6 weeks to complete and the due date is May the 10th and it's May the 16th, we have a legitimate right to come to you and say, hey, listen, on the schedule, say y'all will be completed by the 10th. It's now the 16th. We're already. So that tells us, okay, we're behind schedule. So we're not on time. We're not on point. We were asking for things like that. And that's the thing that I asked for in the meeting, because if we have that information and the supporting documents, I don't think we will have a problem paying anyone. But for someone to come to us and say, here's what we did, this, and that, give us $60,000. Okay, so what are we paying the $60,000 for? I can give you an invoice and I can say this, but does that mean it was done? Where's the documentation? Council member James, he looked at and reviewed, he said, on point. This is what all we was looking for, on point. Now I can sign off. So I think it's not the lack of distrust or anything like that. I think it's more of a communication gap and not having the right information for the project. This is a over $1 million project. And so there has to be some type of schedule or plan. We cannot just get a schedule up until the point where we are. No, we need a schedule that outlines the entire project and even have an end date. And if we don't meet that end date or get close to that date, when we're almost finished that project, we can say, hey, listen, we're gonna go past this date. We're not gonna meet our ETA. We have cost overrun, because here it even lists out the cost. If you projected $60,000 for steps, airways, and electrical, and come to find out it's gonna be more than $60,000, it's here. So we know what we budgeted for. So we know where we are. That's what I was asking, because right now we really don't know. All we doing is paying invoices. But without a schedule, we don't know where we are in the project. I'm not being, that's all. We are gonna hire a project manager so that we can get the project manager involved in the project, so that we won't be the ones tapping on your door all the time asking questions. And the project manager will have this type of information that we request and idea. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your answers, please.
We did provide a schedule for the architectural work. I know we had a meeting and after that, we provided a schedule, I think it was for.
Yeah, right after that meeting, we're trying to schedule. And we've been updating the name. Right
Yeah,
now.
but she gets a copy about the schedule. She doesn't care for the schedule,
Okay.
but they did do a schedule.
Yeah, but the
That's what she
schedule,
said.
is only up to the work that you've done. A schedule is a schedule of the entire project. Okay,
Well,
sorry.
So the reason why you haven't gotten a schedule for this child project is because we're in the design phase. So until the actual designs are done and we have a completed building, we won't be able to fully understand exactly like how long the construction is gonna take. You need plans, we need plans, we need all this information, because based on information, based on materials we have to order, based on vendors we have to contact, all of this information is going to be critical paths for the schedule. So right now, we've been given a schedule for the actual design. And then as we do that, as we start to get things, what we've been doing And we've been, actually doing pricing, doing things, which is actually on the schedule that we did provide. And for the other project, we, the invoices have been for the police station, not for the other project, We, like, we pay for things, we pay for things that we still haven't get an invoice for. And with the other project, there were other things that came up in terms of when we went to that had delayed them because we didn't understand that the trailer didn't have a permit and all these other things, which, shifted and pushed back. So there were a lot of things that actually that was outside of our control that, pushed things back and made things go a little longer than it would be. But I mean, if you want a better schedule, then if you had to try to get a better schedule, but it's going to be like we can provide some type of, like rough idea of like how long we think the process would take. You can absolutely provide that for the entire project if that's more so what you're looking for. But the reason why is that we were in the design phase, so we provided that schedule for the design phase. I think,
Yeah, she didn't say your time process. So if you could, not tomorrow morning, so if you could get that to, it's like you did, already I told you, it was council. If you could, that would be great. I'm trying to eliminate this little, that problem that happened there.
Yes, and so, she's not correct, we're still in the design phase. And so what's impacting the schedule is the payment to the engineers. And for my contract, going to be, they're the 50%. I built the 50% at the time, it's supposed to be done when I leave going like that, all the deposits to all of the engineers, got them going. Once they went to the design development phase, once they stopped moving anything around, that 50% was due. They kept moving, and we're like, it's all right, once you move forward. But now I'm at the point where they spent money on their staff. I've spent money on my staff. And raised it anyway. So, we are doing our best to keep everything moving. In regard to the trailer and the comments, we have responded. If there are additional comments that DeFi needs, we have responded. I heard a friend of mine, which is up in the council, so I know it's done. I do it myself, so it's done. Okay.
Councilman James, who refused to sign the check, based on information he needed. Councilman James, please.
Yes, thank you guys for coming to a better explanation on the status of the project. My reluctancy for signing the checks was because I had insufficient information. Now, to say that you guys were to blame for that, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say that I have a degree, I'm a qualified person in construction as well as architecture. I just need to know from my mayor and the council, why am I not included in the dissemination of information firsthand from you guys so that I can know what's going on, so I can be in the loop. So if anybody on this council, I think more qualified in this field, in this area of work, it would be me. But I'm not privy to anything. So when I get the information, it's late. So I'm really apologetic for you guys not getting your payment. But my name is going on this check, and I'm not going to sign anything done. I need to know what I'm paying for. So I haven't seen proof of that yet. And I believe your company submitted an invoice for a fence. So my question is, where's the fence? And then for pavement, the lot haven't been paid. So I need to know these type of, what's the status of that? Did you buy the fence and it's on your lot somewhere? You say you bought the fence.
Yeah, the
Well, I haven't seen it.
Hey, Tucson, let me answer this. We bought the fence. The fence is on your site. It's been on your site, 66001 Old Central Avenue, for about a month now. We paid for the fence, and we haven't invoiced you. We haven't asked y'all for a dime for that fence yet, and we haven't paid the project. We haven't paid the project. I mean, the parking lot yet because DPI has not approved the permit. We sitting waiting.
Okay,
We hired. We hired a permit expedite, and we put her on the phone with Miss Mayor Friday. That's how we got the copy of the permit. We check DPI every day, every working day. for comments and questions. We doing all we can do on our side. Don't hold us accountable for DPI taking long. We've done our job. We submitted this to DPI back in March. And quite frankly, for just replacing an existing fence and paving a parking lot, a permit doesn't need to be this extensive. DPI is on something else. And sir, we have not asked you for no invoice for no fence or the parking lot paving. Now, what we did ask for was payment to the architects, the engineers, and all this for both projects. They have been working. And y'all keep requesting proof of their work under legal standard. You cannot get these permits or these surveys from these expediters or these architects and stuff until you pay for it. But we submitted it to y'all anyway for good faith. Because now y'all are in possession of all of the surveys and stuff. Y'all have been in possession of that. Y'all haven't paid for it, and therefore now y'all can do with it what y'all want. But we have went overboard to try to ease y'all concerns.
That's on the tree.
So I yield.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But again, if I don't see these things, proof that this work is being done, my signature is not going on the check. So I need to see proof that this stuff is being done.
Excuse me.
I don't
We
have
had sent you the architects and the engineers' work. So whatever proof are you looking for? You have the proof in your face. That's what we asking for invoice for. The invoice is for to pay them. And you had those, and we had sent those to y'all on Friday. So I don't understand your confusion.
He said submit that to us on Friday. Yeah, okay, but again, I need a hard.
I don't, you need a hard copy.
Yeah, I need a hard copy. I need a hard
It's
copy.
gonna be good.
And that, you guys can just bill us one.
But you're not trying to affect.
No, okay. All right. Okay, you vote for.
One of the other questions I have is, I was told that we had the trailer. And if the trailer not is at our lot, I'm trying to figure out whatever the trailer is, then, how will we insure the trailer? And the reason why I'm asking is because the modules that we had on Rollins Avenue, when they was at the manufacturer's, place, they got damaged. Legit, our insurance did not insure those trailers because they were not in our possession. And the people that we had the trailers with said that they were not responsible for damage to those trailers. So if we have a module or a trailer that's supposed to be an NSD, and from my understanding, it already has been purchased, where's the trailer? Because we need to find out whether or not we can cover that trailer for insurance purposes. Because as we wait for this lot to be paved and the gate to be installed, we have a trailer sitting somewhere, and if it's damaged, who's going to pay for the damage?
You've already addressed.
I got it. I'll address this, please. The trailer is under our insurance. The trailer is still at the manufacturer's office because we told them we are not ready to take possession of this trailer because the parking lot is not done. So we moved this trailer onto the parking lot. Then once the permit comes, then we will have to move it again, risk of something breaking, then put it back into place. We can show you, I can send you pictures of the finished trailer. I thought I sent them already, but I will send them over again. There's no need for us traveling a trailer, risking it getting injured or something, and we're not ready for it. And we sent y'all the sign or the receipt that it was paid for.
I think it can be done with.
Okay, okay, so you get your answer?
Matt, I'm not accusing nobody, nothing. I'm asking questions because we've been through this process before where we end up paying for damaged trailers. That's why I asked. My second question was, so when we get, because I'm a little confused, I thought the contract for the construction was with Ms. Gayl. Because there were, oh, okay, because, yeah, but that's why I didn't know. So if we don't know, we're gonna ask questions because there were two invoices and they were the same invoices submitted for the same exact things. One was for, I think it was not, another for the police station. Right. So, and it was, one was for 37,000 and the, Gayle's was only for 15,000. Right, so that's why we're trying to understand, that's why we was trying to understand what was going on. And because we didn't have supporting documents, we didn't know. And it's unfair to us as a town and as a government agency for us to be slapped to tell us we didn't pay y'all because of these things. But if we don't have information and we're not communicating with the entire council, especially the people who sign the checks, then we don't know. We don't know, but it's unfair for you to come here and say that you have a problem with us not signing checks. This is business. It's not a personal thing, me and you as friends. This is a business. And when we lose that ARP money, when they go to audit, because they did audit, because we had AAP money at the first round, but it wasn't as much. But when they go to audit, they look at everything, every receipt, everything. So that's why we're conscious about what we do and what we sign. So I do.
Thank you for your presentation. My daughter has been about on timeline if I can report today. To alleviate a lot of misunderstanding in the Black area, to give us a project that would be everything is to be announced or to be determined later. And as things change, because this is what I do, but some of the population, not in depth as yours, but as things change, everything when you come into the client, okay, we're gonna paint walls over here blue, and this week it's not gonna be blue, so we're gonna change the due date on it to maybe 2 weeks out, this wall is gonna be blue. And then you just keep it going, so that never end, when you invoice us, everything jives together. Sorry for the misconfusion, but of course, as Councilman Chief just said, we've been jilted before, and we are conscious of our money and how things are spent. And our residents are online listening and hearing like, okay, it said this, where is that at? We need to be informed and understand in order to articulate and talk like we know what we're talking about to our constituents, to our residents. That's all we're saying. And it's not to say we don't want to pay because we pay our bills. We got a high credit score, so we pay our bills. Not really, not to integrity is there. So just to get here, everybody, your side, our side, just understand that we stay as well, and we understand that we stay. And some of it, we have to work in-house as well, as far as disseminating all of the information to the council at the same time. So everybody's on one foot. Fair deal?
Yeah, we can absolutely provide a full schedule for the proposed construction of what will go on. We have been providing documentation. If we get the emails, we will happily forward everything that we provided. You know, similar thing to be clear. Gayll has a separate contract in terms of the town hall, and we have a contract in terms of the police station, parking lot. So the jail is giving invoices relative to the town hall. nothing to do with our scope. But we are working there that good invoice if we are on the police station. I know it's if they're good, then we take over. No, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, my last thing is that, but yeah, that's what I said as far as the property schedule, with us the detail, line that we can try to keep it. TA ready to give us, we try to keep it when our treasurer gives out the bill, we'll keep that schedule with it. So if anything is changed, because TA, the mayor will probably pay it first, we'll make sure that project schedule is updated and you all have it. So if the check writers get it, they'll see, they can look at the schedule, okay, this is for Jack, and this is for Renee. We can move it, this, stuff like that. It's going to say, hopefully, was that also you sent the same design and the same photo. Both of you, because we looked at it right on the table. That's what it was. It was the same design and the same photo with a different invoice. It was just like,
Yeah, one was for the town hall, and one was for the, so I wanted to make it because we're at the same point, we're sort of 50% point for both projects. So the description is pretty similar. I did provide a TA and backup invoice from my engineer. And I also provided a sense of, and
It's a lot of stuff in that project.
it's a lot, it's about 30 pages long and 50 pages of not.
It's a lot of stuff. Councilman Lynch, what's the?
Yes, you guys are working on 3 projects, yeah?
Yeah.
Do they have project numbers? Can you associate those project numbers so I can reference the project numbers for the respective project? Because that would help me out. Just attach it to every document that's associated with that project. You know what I'm saying? Like the invoices for the police precinct, for example, that same project number should follow that pack.
We can do that. We're invoicing for the police station. We can attach a project.
Yeah, because I needed something to follow. Because I'm getting confused with, is this for the precinct? Or is this for the town hall? Or is this for the lot? I don't know.
Everything in the Dropbox folders are labeled according to.
Okay.
We'll see when you open it up, 52 pages and 30 pages. A lot of information in there.
And one last request, do we have a 24 by 36 inch drawings? Deliverable, hard copy?
Sure.
Just, we will.
I'll refer that back.
No, you don't have to pay it.
Well, I am.
We're gonna pay you for it. We can pay for 7 drawings. So, come on.
Okay. Are we good now?
Yeah.
Councilman Reed.
So everything that y'all expected is done. We have all documentation right there within the house. In the Dropbox. I need
And I'll.
That's not from the sign.
Everybody, I'm reporting the Dropbox to everybody.
Aside from the sign, I'll take a Dropbox.
Stop.
Yeah, I'm just here. Thank you so much. I do that. Appreciate it.
Done? Councilman Reed?
Yes, you know, I'm moving forward.
Thank you for coming to this today. Thank you for giving most council, myself included, clarification, because I have no idea of the details that was happening when I do it. But I think it's no idea when I was doing the project. I didn't have any idea, with all the discussion that took place today. So I do thank you for that. And also, I am the check signer. So as Councilman Jones so eloquently stated that what his profession is, I'm also, my profession is very honest. I'm overlooked when it comes to check signing. I'm not sure because I have not received any emails regarding the checks being signed. And for you to say you sent invoices, and for you to say, well, I have not been paid, or there has been something signed, And for me, even to hear that they have not even been a schedule when we have a contract is very mind-boggling to me. So I don't understand how we got here. I've also put a resolution in the floor about council being updated for all business. So how we don't know all of council, do not know what's going on. Hopefully we can better going forward. And I would hope to get calls also when it's time to sign checks. And so what Councilmember James is saying in terms of having receipts and information, I would ask and like to put those on the floor that would have for request those voices and that check signers, mayor council are together. Be notified that whoever is being called to sign checks. And that when emails go out, I have said this before, when emails go out for check signing, it should be sent to all check signers, not to specific check signers. Then we will be able to catch a lot of things and we can all work together to mitigate certain issues instead of waiting until May. So my motion for is the checks to be signed for contracts, that the mayor and council be notified. Please have a motion to be. Until we finish with this. This part, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I was asking you start the correct. You can't be seen to really be.
That's all I'm saying. I'll put a motion. That's fine. But again, this is $2 million. There's nowhere in the world. We should have this, we should have a second discussion right now. Stuff, contracts has been signed, I don't. Or details, contract, it's just know that you should be in this situation. And then we should be transparent, period. That's why I yield second the motion.
So at this point, as I've already said, everything quickly, you want to review the information that they're giving you, because we provided the information requested, and you want to review it. But I'm gonna tell my engineers, and I don't have a date on the specs on it. I thought it was gonna be June 1, and then it's not, so I mean, I don't know what the response will be, but I'm not being able to say up front, it's been, not for all 4 engineers.
Okay.
Well, I don't, you know, if you guys have, is this appropriate? If you guys move around outside and, you know. Can we,
That's the question.
can we, can I do that? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, she's gone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, do you know the door? You know the code to that door? Okay. She had to go to the door, so she did like regular doors.
See that, Councilman James, he wants to be going, he wants to put something up. So that, you don't have to stand to discuss that. That's town business. So if you can, Councilman James, can you remember this?
Yes.
Or thank you, sir. That's town business. Can you do whatever?
Yeah.
And yes, I'm trying to, okay. If you can handle that, T.A. Van.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so you can.
Okay, so,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. She wanted to ask, sir.
Is it possible that we do the schedule? When you do the schedule, can you do it for each project?
Yes.
So we'll know from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So we can have all of that information for each individual project, so we don't get confused and,
Yeah,
okay,
I don't want to blend those two. No.
okay. And we are hiring a project manager.
Yes, we are. That's what, not all this out. That would be someone working with you, coming to us as a council and not having to go through. And they will be able to say point blank, this is what's done. And that will alleviate a lot of this, that project now.
I want to do the next 2-3 weeks, and we'll find that, so, yeah.
Like most people, they have a project. Okay. All right, sir. You want to, can they talk to you? Can they talk to you? Oh, sure. We shouldn't have all this out here. Can you put them somewhere where you want to go in that area, sir, with them? Yeah. Okay, that's next floor? Yeah. Okay. What else? Yeah.
Yes, and so what I'm talking about now is money being spent. Right. We just say we don't have all the invoices. No, we have all the, we have the invoices, like, okay, and so we are able to review all the invoices that we're being billed to the back end. And what's getting off, we being billed to.
He's on the board.
Yeah, yeah, and I do appreciate that. So again, as the chair of the finance committee, I would definitely appreciate being included in conversations. And we all hold us in terms of balance, when you both had the conversation, I don't think you're saying the same practice. So we're here and I don't know if you can have questions. This is not the terms of days Argos. We're not even really just having discussed with all the councilors. This is Argos funds, and the funds have already been allocated. If the funds are already allocated, it's just that it's like a draw. When you allocate funds, it's like a draw against that balance. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just telling you, that's all the checks are. They're drawn into that $1 billion, each one of them. That's all they are. Right, but I think you should know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to tell you how it's working. Right, and I understand that. I would like for us to have specifics of the contract. If we had reviewed the contract or details of the contract, we would be able to put into the schedule. Contract doesn't really. If you have a contract, you don't just sign it to me, now the contract, and I don't know how this. That's a whole different thing. The contract is just for the work itself, what the cost is going to be. In the economic development, we don't put all that in the contract itself. That becomes your addendum to the contract. I see what you said, but we're off talking now. So, but that becomes your addendum to that particular contract. So I suggest that once we get their thing, we all go into session and look at the contract itself. Not the contract, but whatever you want to give us for the schedule, to see what you want to do. I think that's the. Yeah, but your contract is not going to say that. You have to do a thing. You have to say these are the details spending. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, when the contract person in. She says that we don't have that in the contract, then I wouldn't say about her expertise, but she was definitely saying that. So anyway, so my move that can also be notified on all projects. That's happening when it comes to contracting. I don't care if it's ARPA money, federal government money coming from our taxes, all money belongs to the county. We are responsible for that money. So I think that the council should be notified by our check signer. In terms of what was confusing is that I'm a check signer. I have no knowledge of what the details are happening because it was not given. So why is it just one check signer getting all this information and 2 or 3 people having conversation and making decisions? Well, that's what you're saying, but that's not the same as what we're doing. That's a whole different thing. If you want to discuss the check signing clause, that's a whole different. We did because it was a hard check. Oh, please. I'm just trying to say that's a whole different thing. And we need to move on to the next topic and let them talk. If we want to come back with these, because that's not on the other one. The spending and this is that. It wouldn't be on all contracts. Yes, we're saying we want to know all checks that relate to us. No, I'm looking for us to be notified of all contracts. Because we have to full contracts to go right now. We just did a motion on that. I said, what we did was, we did a resolution. And we did a resolution with amounts. We didn't break down anything. We didn't do it. We just have a resolution, no contracts, no nothing attached. Okay. I think you need to write it out. And then let's look at it. I think that's the best thing to do. If you're going into detail, I understand. Write it up. Let's put on it. Oh, we can be right there. Well, yeah. Because most of us go through your house, like, make sure they see your understanding of what I'm sharing with the house. I'm not from the truth.
I'm hearing two different things, but I'm also hearing that I think Councilwoman in Philadelphia, Columbus, Councilwoman Ford not only wants to be notified of contracts, but she wants to be notified when they sign any type of checks or checks are sent for a specific project, so that she can calculate completely, calculate the money, to make sure it's not as program.
I didn't say that.
And it should be that she wants to be notified. That's all council also.
We have one person being notified of sign checks.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You got a check issue here that you're putting on the
Money being
contract.
paid out. Mayor,
Because I'm,
put motion up for exactly how you said, and that is exactly what I went going for, and I second it. She said you can move on.
No, please, Council, I gotta move on this meeting. Councilwoman Ford moves that, one of you, who yield, both of you yield the floor? Both of you had taken the floor, do you yield? Now you yield?
yeah.
Okay, Councilman Anita.
Council for that council, basically, my city values. Check signers and council members be notified as you know, checks that you can sign and contracts, all contracts will come out. All council members and check signers be notified. Okay. All signing.
Right. That's fine, that's fine.
No, why certain companies are calling out? All
Okay, fine.
fine, be notified, not the count.
Oh, no, so you know
You did all.
But then she said all council contracts.
Right, no, right. This is what you added.
But you added to it.
Okay, let's get to
Okay, okay, did she say, did you?
Let me write it down. Let's write it down. Any motion? Give me a motion. Give me a motion to
Councilwoman Ford raised that all council members will be notified regarding contracts. And when the town is going into contract.
Want to do check, want to do check signers first? That all check signers,
You notify the check so that you file.
Check
You
sign.
notified, so whatever communication.
what is it for? That all check signers be notified.
Notified when there's checks that need to be signed. And all council members be
Okay,
notified.
hold on.
You contract.
All council. Be notified when
Semantics, contract. Or contracting.
for all contracts. Okay, notified. It's like, that's like duplicated. You send with all the checks, you want to be notified, all of them, and then you want to single out and say all council, oh, I got you, I'm sorry, say council, okay, my mistake, notified when contract invoices, okay, contract invoices. That's what. Contract invoices. Oh, what? Okay, okay, I'll have to call. Okay, are there any further comments?
Did we
Okay,
get a second on it? 'Cause we just- Okay.
okay. So who put it on the floor?
Councilman
Ford, put it on the floor.
Okay,
No, Ford, you can put it on the motion. Ford,
and then Councilman,
Councilmember
Councilmember Williams.
second, the councilwoman. Anita, second it? Second. Williams, okay. Okay, I'll give it to you. It's the motion on the floor. I will give it to you, but I wrote it down. Sure. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, count.
It's really, position, that's all. Okay. Yeah, serious.
Councilman Ford moved the motion that all check signers be notified when checks are signed, and all council be notified when contract invoices are received. Okay, can you call the vote?
Councilmember Amanda Anderson is absent. Councilmember Anita Anderson. Mayor Pro Tem two.
Yes.
And Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Councilmember James. There's a motion on the floor. Mayor, do you want to read that statement one more time?
Councilman Ford. Councilman Ford moved that all check signers be notified when checks need signed. And all council be notified when contract invoices are received. That was her motion. Councilman James? He said yes.
Yes, and Councilmember Milligan.
Yes.
Okay. I have it.
Okay, let's go on to the next one, the next thing.
Can we, may I make a motion? Can we let John go first?
No, you can't make a motion.
I'm so tired. I just woke up.
Well, he's next.
John, next.
John,
Is he
he's next.
next? I think it was just me and Chief next.
No, no.
No.
I don't need anything to be done. I just need the council to sign these, it's almost time for your mid-year review.
Okay.
We need to sign these contracts. So I asked the HR, please give me the contracts because I sent them out to y'all months ago to review. Nobody ever responded and here we are. So we need to sign them. So I'll just pass them out. They're already working the job. We need to sign the contract. Okay, John?
John.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Tell us where we are, council. Council,
Yes, ma'am.
everyone. I asked,
Turn it on, Julie.
said,
Turn it on.
I asked John to present on. I asked John, I don't know how I can hear all this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I asked John Connor to present, he's our, grant writer and, annexation guru. I asked him to present on where we are with our grants, what type of monies he's applied for, where does he think we are? And also to take some input from council, what they would like to see, what type of funding, government funding they would like to go after. So John, you got it. Or you had it, whatever. No problem.
So, I'd like to start out with one point of clarification, because there's a lot of questions from the council regarding Department of Housing and Community Development grant funding. And I apply for those grants all the time. $750,000 is a lofty goal. I think it's great endeavor to go after it. But the point of clarity is that DHCD grants are 100% reimbursable, meaning you put the money out, you submit, they'll give it back. There's one exception, only one, and that's when you ask for a front of the money. And that's only for a certain amount of the money. And then on your next report, you need to reconcile every single receipt and where that money went in order to get the next drawdown.
There you go.
Okay, so
Are you doing Argos, Penrose question?
I am, because I applied for DHCD. That's it. That's it. Yes.
You said, what, Department of Housing and Community
Yes.
Development? I thought that's where we were going.
Because I applied for a lot of them and it may come up. It's one of the grants that I do. So I was like, oh, perfect. Let me address that now. So there's clarity. Yeah.
They know
Reimbursable.
the answer.
And that's it. So you got it. Yes, it's very straightforward.
Put that $750 out of our pocket. For that.
Yes, yeah, unless you get a drawdown, but it's only a certain amount. I did it with the $500,000 grant. I was able to draw down 200, but every penny's accounted for. When I say every penny, I mean every penny invoice and want copies of your checks, your disbursements, your signatures, everything. So it's very detailed. Jean Cannon is great up there. I just met with her not too long ago, so I'm familiar with the grants that it's all about. There's a finite amount of money this year due to the governor's budget. And that's why I'm, with the DHCD grants, I have spoken to PA Rent about one of them, but there's, it's gonna be very difficult based on how that money is supposed to be used. However, in good news, I will say that since the start of, coming here, the amount of grants awarded that I've been able to get is $4.45 million.
Yes. John is great.
It's been less than a year. The biggest one, the two, actually, it's combined, two big ones, is the renovation for Town Hall and Capitol Heights Boulevard, which is congressionally directed funding. There is one last approval process, which has to go through Appropriations Committee. But what I will tell you from my prior experience with these grants is that once they are selected by the senator or congressman, that it is usually just one more step in the process of getting the budget approved through appropriations. So I was really excited for that. I really was. It's huge for everything that you want to do with the town. The other one was the tree project, which was worth of about $750,000. There's no money that transacts between the town. But the Department of the Environment comes in. They've already started work. I've worked with the Department of the Environment, and TA Ren met with them, and we got a letter signed, basically like go in the right of way, start marking up. Good news is you will have plans. I've heard that resounded great. All right, so you will have plans. You'll have lots of plans from the Department of the Environment, what trees go where, how they go where, and what they do with them. You will meet all the construction people. They have amazing project management with it. They go above and beyond with communication. So when it comes to a project, I can tell you they do 1,500 trees for me in Forest Heights. They are absolutely amazing. They're still maintaining them to this day. And they're actually going to do another inventory. You'll get an app. So it's an amazing investment in the town for that. For the police department, we have gotten the state aid for police protection increase. We have $50,000 award for license plate readers. I'm sorry, $40,000 for license plate readers, plus an additional white paper grant for money that was allocated, and $11,000 to expend that for your code enforcement for video surveillance for illegal dumping.
Yes. Yeah.
So I tried to hit all the targets that have been passed down from council, the mayor, and from TA Rent, and make sure I'm hitting all of those. We have a stormwater management grant that's in with the Chesapeake Bay Trust. And slowly but surely working towards the community garden grant. The water issues need to be taken care of there, and we'll get that taken care of. Overall, it's $4.65 million of awarded grants, but we've submitted for well over $8 million of grants, which are still awaiting award. All right, so the police department, I just recently finished another grant for them, which was the Police Accountability Act grant. That was for $45,000, help subsidize the cost of body worn damage. So that does not have your general fund when it's awarded, so it'll be nice savings there. Yeah. There's the warrant apprehension grant, which was $30,000. The recruitment and retention grant for $50,000, which goes to bonuses for officers, and uniform allowance to help take care of the uniforms. There's a lot of different categories in that grant. There was another $30,000 for gun violence reduction. So we submitted that. There's over 21 grants that we've submitted for. Some of them take a little bit longer to get awarded. It's like a fiscal year and a half sometimes, and it's all based on the allocation of the budget. But it's I take my direction based on the input that I get from TA Ren on the initiatives that we put forward. So while I don't talk to all of you individually, it's for a specific reason. And that specific reason is Councilmember James may have one direction. Councilmember Chu may have one. Councilmember Ford may want me to get a budget and analysis round. But see, but with that being said, I try to keep a singular point of contact, and this way, whatever each individual wants, I'm able to do for the body politic, and I don't ever have to stand up there and right. So I try not to, and the mayor does give me a lot of information. I will say this from what the other council members want as well when I do see her and direction, but TA Ryan really does convey that, and I will say she is relentless. So I will never forget what the goals that you have going on, you will not ever forget. And as well as she keeps me up on the reports that are required. So just like she said the other day, I have a report, no problem. Back it up, here you go, and, get it right away. So I keep a running report all the time, because I was sitting in the car when she asked for it, I was like, I normally ask now, I'm gonna send that. So that's where we sit. So any goals and initiatives that we are looking, please, definitely follow it through. There's usually a grant for everything. I was able to work with Chief Collington at Williamsburg, and first of its kind, a $450,000 grant for youth and community intervention for boxing and gaming trailers. So it's first of its kind for a short time. And those are the unique things that people want to see. And it is being recognized that Capitol Heights is on the move. It is definitely growing. The 20743 coalition is something that was noticed. I saw the mayor there on Instagram. And yes, so that all of this is being noticed, and I can use all of that information. So maybe your website, whenever information goes up, I'll put it there, and I can tell you that staff has been more than supportive, including the team. So that is the grants update. When most of that money you've already got, except the 3.5 million, you're not going to get that till fiscal year 27. To be very clear. Yes, because of appropriations on the federal budget cycle. So we're entering 2.6, it'll go up to the feds, and then by 2.7, you should see the appropriation. Yes. So that's how that'll work. So it's a long-term planning, but good thing is any costs that you have incurred, it may be able to also reimburse. And there's administrative portions on them. So 15% of that can be allocated to administration, which I always like because it covers my expenses. And it can help with expenses of your treasurer, your town administrator, whatever's being allocated there, there's that de minimis amount that can go up like that. So it helps with everything that is going on. In paving Capitol Heights whole body getting great as well.
Yes,
You know, and so rather than continue to talk about that, I didn't know if there's any questions. I know I still have to touch on annexation, but I didn't want to switch gears and, yeah. Oh, it's not? Oh, okay. Well, then good. Well, then I've covered grants and I will not talk about that.
Oh, okay. Now, the game stock and the boxing, what else? Can you talk on?
So that I could in the future, that grant's closed right now. But yes, if there's something that the town would like to do, then specific to that, I can do that. They may say that it's a duplicate effort in the same county, but if it's an expansion of the program, there'd have to be a collaboration with the town of Williamsburg on how you can expand the program. But there's other options out there. If it's not boxing, if you want to do some other sport or the gaming trailer, that's no problem. You know, but what other interactive sport or activity would you like to do?
So, I mean, another thing, the town of high school, you have to split it, if the way this to get it, you can also run it with coalition. So,
Yeah, the 20743. Yeah, you know, that's it. When I write grants, one of the things I do, specifically this with the police department for the ALPOs. I spoke to various law enforcement agencies, and when I submitted it, it was a cooperative effort. And that's why it was a little bit more restricted. We had the city of Glen Arden, we had Ravensburg, we had Supervisor, we had Forest Heights, and Capitol Heights. And it was all about the interoperability of this network and how they're going to work together. So the state said, oh, that's a good place to live money.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this particular directed funding grant, that's how I would approach it. Get 20743, Fairmount Heights, Sea Pleasant. Yeah, Bladensburg's doing it up. It's a little bit further north. We're going to leverage their experience in the program and see what we can bring right here and get USA Boxing involved as well.
it's it, and also, because even though Glen Arden has one, so we're a little farther that way, so, you can do it that way. But, one last thing, when you said about the street city, I thought high school, but never been the only street is some other something that.
Yeah, it is.
It's going drain.
It is. And I've been wanting to chase it up that road, so I know. But
John used to be a cop.
yeah, I wasn't running. And if I was, the statute of limitations. But the, no, yeah, so it does a large portion of the road, it's gonna be how to bid out and the best price available to see how far we're gonna go, so. That's, yeah, it's all gonna cost on how asphalt is, how much work needs to be done, how much investment needs to be done on the roadway, it's gonna be on stormwater issues, and we're gonna try and get some more money to cover those costs. Speed bumps aren't that expensive, we can have that.
Right, because I'm telling, I spoke about, I told them 600 blocks, 700 blocks, we have no storm drains.
Yeah, right, I don't know.
No storm drains ever was, so when it rains, the word 6 for weeks, as well as in the winter time, it's a slew ice, I slid. It's winter before last, it's not their fault. And again, it's roller coaster land. Number, they didn't patch, so there's more patching. But let me ask this on the streets too. Why don't we use it? Because I know in New York, they plant glass in the street and their asphalt, but it helps keep it together, like in the winter time, because they have much harsher winters than us. It helps keep it from coming apart, having tunnels, and why don't we do it here in this area?
So I grew up in New York. I know, they get a lot of concrete roads, but mainly it comes down to the plant and what type of bituminous asphalt they're mixing. So the plants in this area don't particularly use that, so that's why you're not gonna get it. And if you wanted to use a different or particular type of asphalt, there are costs it's gonna sell. It's the same thing with like the pervious paint. It's
That particular, it's not that expensive because it's got that glass and stretch field that's going on. It's got the glass thing. And they say, it's consistent, they said that they don't have that problem on the streets that have it. Getting those potholes, I think,
I know exactly what you're talking about. It just comes down to the price to produce and the asphalt plants that are here, whether they're gonna produce it or not. That's really all it comes down to. No problem.
Awesome job. That's all I want to say. Awesome job.
What success have we had in getting grants for the Worsley Center for the Proclamation to make all the so that else we found.
We do not, the town, we do not qualify for the SS4 grants, which we probably got. And the reason that we don't qualify is there's some legislative work that needs to be done with them working with the We have to adopt the statewide and countywide master transportation plans, as well as safety plans. The police department needs to also be participating in the highway safety plans. And then you have to have a committee that meets to discuss the safety plans of the town. And then once that legislation is done, then we can submit that with the SS4. Now, I am searching for alternative options to pay for it. And if I can find one that's just going to do crosswalk painting, then I will. But those are difficult to come by just for painting the roadway. It's usually a little bit more involved. So yeah, it's still difficult. It's still difficult because they look at that as a normal governmental function that shouldn't have to be paid for. So if we're going to be doing roadway work and patching the roadway, right, I can go ahead and say, well, it's a safety issue. We need speed humps in that particular area, and I can pull in funding for speed humps. Right? Well, I can tie the work with the same contractor into the painting of the crosswalk. Right? So it's all about the scope of work that's done within the money that's given from a particular grant, as long as it's allowed. So I've always looked for any of those options, and TA Ren did bring it up to me. She specifically asked me if there's any grants available for crosswalks, and I told her the exact same thing I was doing. So we're working on that legislation, and then we'll go from there. But also, if there is a grant that you find, because I don't see everything, I don't claim to know everything. If there is something that you find and you think it may be applicable, I have no problem reviewing it and seeing what's there. Just, Tia Ren can get it to me, and then I can go from there. And
So with that, the warranty that was forwarded to you, that was.
Yeah. That was there. And just saying, John has been very well in terms of how we can actually utilize, basically funds in order to achieve all the goals, of mayor and council. So he was just saying maybe there are certain funds that would be allocated for that, as you just said to you. perhaps we can tie this up with a security issue, like, fixing roads or speed humps, et cetera. So we will find ways to achieve the building results or what we aspire to achieve for the town and its residents.
Like, for instance, if you get, yeah, like state aid for police protection would help. If you get money for the body cameras, right? You're gonna have X amount of dollars in savings from that, right? So what it comes down to is saying, well, we're gonna save $30,000 on body cameras. Is it the will of the body politic that we want to do the crosswalks with that savings, right? So it's, whenever I write a grant, the way I always say it is, if you get the $40,000, that's gonna take care of something that is the necessity like body cameras. What other good do you wanna do with the money that you're saving from there, right? So how do you reapply the savings from the grant? And that's how you do it. And it works successfully every time, and it's how you can grow it out there and make it happen. And like I said, it's successful in every single municipality I've worked with. It's just gotta look at it in a different angle.
So how much work has to go in for us to be able to qualify, or are we like starting or considering a plan so that we can get that money for that? Because I know that's the way most communities are going. And there is a lot of talk about walkable communities. So it is some buzzwords happening out there. So I don't understand why there isn't any funding other than something that would tie to federal government. So there's no local funding. You're saying that there is only federal funding available for it?
Yeah, the SS4 is federal. There's bond bills that are available. Sometimes the county council has money. But other than those three at the state level, it's the SS4 actually runs through the state. It's a sub-recipient, so you don't apply directly to the money. So the feds get the money, get it out to the state, the state applies to that. So those would be the main avenues for walkable or livable communities, unless you're going to tie in an environmental impact that has to do with it, where you're talking about bike lanes and this,
Transformative development, that's
right.
It's all this.
Then
Right, so we can tie that in, clearing that.
well, you can, but then you need a transportation master plan, and you need to go ahead and lay out how all your roads are gonna interconnect in each study. So just like the stormwater management, I put in for the Chesapeake Bay Trust, pay for the study for your stormwater management, which then be given for the next grant to get you the money. So it comes down to a transportation plan. What roads are identified, that you want to have those bike lanes, and do they meet the parameters for the manual for uniform traffic control devices or roadways to actually establish that? Do you want to make roads one way? That's what the committee comes from. So when you start on the SS4, you say, all right, we're gonna put a bike lane in here. This road's gonna be one way now. Right? So, okay, now we're gonna talk about a different project. So it's sometimes it's not as easy as applying for the money because they want to see more. And for instance, I took a loss on one that I had to do for another client, and I put it in. I said, no, I'll put in for it, but a lot of the other work wasn't done. And of course, the grant got denied because they didn't have the work done behind the scene. So I try to get all the front loading done to go ahead and get all those other grants. So the answer is yes, there may be a grant out there that I'm not aware of that could just pay for the crosswalks. But if that's the only thing you want to do, then that's okay. But if you're talking about bike lanes and everything else, that's a total comprehensive approach. And when the SS4 comes in, you're going to lay that whole thing out. You're going to want to have the engineering plans. Like Mount Rainier did great 1 years ago. They had a great plan when they did it. And they actually got a significant amount of money.
You said Mount
Rainier.
No, that's simple what he said.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of it's engineering. You put in for the design, right, and engineering. You're not never going to say, hey, sorry, man. Yeah.
No, good job.
Motion, so that's.
All right, okay.
No, it's.
I know, can't remember all the details, but I know the town was working on Green Street, so we were incorporating a lot of changes, including the bike lanes and all of that. So I know we have to talk in terms of where we are with that, but we have a big plan. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure if we broken into that, or if that's something we can tell us how we can get back on track with getting that started.
Absolutely, but I know exactly which grant you're talking about. There's actually the Main Street grant, and there's a couple other things we can work on. I think one of the biggest ones is that SS4 is getting on board with that, because you have a year to get all that legislation done, so we can be ready to go next time. That's gonna be a big one, and then the green streets, that's, it's not a
So
problem.
the wait for, is that something that's a little maybe easier? Or that's-
You can't conversate. It's a question and an answer. So, do you, Councilman Stewart?
Thank you so much. Just, can you keep looking? I guess I can just write one thing. Continue to write emails, and then when I write those emails, I just want to be on the response. If I could be, if all mayor and council are going to be on the response, all emails that's being requested for grants, then all mayor and council be on those emails so that we can have an idea of what we're doing. So we won't all be trying to have all these projects, and then we will have the time to be able to accomplish them. And I know that has some repercussions, am I right? Grants. The grant, are we getting grant?
Are you
Are we,
Councilman Ford?
yeah, I haven't smoked, I was just.
No, what I'm asking you, I know, but I'm trying to move on so everybody has a chance. So I'm trying to ask you, are you asking him continuing questions or are you asking one question so that you'll answer? Please.
With however you want to say, it. You want me to just yield when I say one thing and let him answer?
How many do you want? It's just a, let's ask him.
Okay, so just let me journal this meeting and then, the question you hear, hopefully you can recall. Yeah, so my point is this. So we're doing all of these grants. I know you're looking for grants and you see if they came from mayor and council. So if it came from mayor and council, it came from a discussion by the mayor and council, right? And that would be an email sent to our town administrator, which then will be forwarded to you, and then you look into it, and then you would respond to our town administrator, and then that information will come to all mayor and council, right? So that would give us the. But that will be. That hasn't been how it's been working, so I'm hearing all of these other grants happening, right? And I know it takes some time and energy, right, for these other grants. And it's a good thing because regardless, the town is still being moved forward. But what I'm saying, just so that everyone would have an opportunity to have their projects done, let's work out a plan. And so us knowing what's being, I guess, searched for, then that would be helpful. All right. So if TA is sending information for you to get based on mayor and council, then that will come from the mayor and council. The mayor and council will have knowledge of that, right? Well, I would think so, right? So now, like you just said, we have all of this grant money that's happening. Because I wasn't aware of a lot of that, but that's an excellent thing. We want grant money. That's why we have you here. But my point is just giving us this information. And then if you see anything else, because we have resolutions. So when you have resolutions, obviously we want grants for those resolutions, especially when it's in the resolution to seek out grant funding, right? So that's all I'm saying. Just making sure mayor and council is aware. And that's always what I'm blowing the bullhorn about, making sure mayor and council is always aware. And thank you so much for your information.
Thank you, Councilman. You
Thank you.
Okay, normally I go to council first, but you've been waiting a while, Tia.
I just wanted to quantify a couple of things. We're actually, John is actually looking at what you want to do. So that conversation you had with the and council, we were listening, we were actually actively listening. And then that's why, like I said, before you ask for that report of what John has been doing, has the date, the description, the amount, etc., that was given to you. As soon as you ask for it, it's like, boom, right there, the 21 point, go ahead, copy it, right? So we just want to make sure that whatever you guys are saying, or I'm actually listening to. So your crosswalk, that's what John was saying earlier, was like, hey, you know what, we take communicate from example, body cam. We take that away, you might be able to use that with your crosswalk. We understand that we don't want to wait years, right? To think about grants, to think about crosswalk. So we've only been like, our little mouse up in the wheelhouse has been spinning, right? So we're thinking how we can basically, in order to make your project or your initiative for the town to work, we're gonna take some things away. We got a grant for, we use that money for you. That's why we were saying, well, hey, we can maybe use FAP funding for that. Like we're gonna get a new patch this year, so we use it for that. So we're actively not saying that you're gonna wait a year, with all this stuff that's going on, but you're gonna be able to move forward quickly with, quicker, maybe it's in phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but something will happen going forward. That's it. I want to quantify that. That's it.
You've been here for 13 minutes. So what I'm trying to say is we have to.
I understand. Sorry. I just wanted to quantify that.
We need to move on to all council. Okay. So, Councilman Anita?
Thank you for your opportunities. This list that we were given last week, these are the grants, and he went over them, that to be sure that we.
Okay. I know.
Okay, and my question for you is, is these are the grants that we applied for. We haven't, have we technically been awarded them?
Yeah, no, there's some we've been awarded, some that are, applied for and or pending or accepted, yeah.
And you did state earlier about, illegal trash dumping and cameras and all of that. That have we been awarded that particular?
Oh, yeah, that's not the event.
That was your money in the bank, okay? Okay, campaign, education, dumpster placements and all of that.
Looking for the cameras, I think for example, he's referring to basically the cameras.
Yes, yes.
So then,
Amen.
so,
Respectfully. Let him answer, please. Don't give me your answer. Right? Okay, John, please.
Yeah, that's for illegal dumping and however the town feels fit, if it's dumpsters or, whatever it is code enforcement brings up, it's a priority, that we place whatever necessary. So you're asking? Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay. Councilman Williams.
Outstanding job. Thank you. Outstanding. I used to.
Councilman Jay.
Same, I didn't go my copy. Outstanding job. Thank you, sir.
And you good, Councilman Williams? I just wanted to say, in all fairness to both, you talking about your house too with the money. Councilman James in the house and the side, the thing, the truth, we got two things, initiatives going on. In all fairness to both of them. I just want to say that.
Just wanted to tell
Okay, okay. All right, so now where we are now.
No questions for you?
John.
I love this man.
Because I noticed it was said mayor and council. Mayor has not been involved in. I got the same list, you all did it the same. Well, I might have had it previously, but it's the same list. But I don't know, but that's the same information that I heard, but I didn't get, but it's the same thing I heard.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you, John. I'm good. I'm good. I thought you did a very good explanation of what's going on. And I'm really happy, for lack of a better word, because the town didn't always have a grant writer. And I think everybody knows that I've always been gung ho about a grant writer. And I'm so happy. Okay. I'm so really appreciative that the council, because I don't vote on those things, the council voted to give the grant writer, and that was where the power is in getting the grant writer, where's the council? So I'm just glad that we finally have a grant writer. And the next is working on the lobbyists, as you said, nobody, the lobbyists were bad, but that's not on the agenda. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad what you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Focus, focus, focus.
Good night.
There, you didn't say anything about that. You can call me out.
It's constantly Councilwoman.
But I want you to be fair, right?
Woman.
Thanks, John. John, I'm gonna be safe.
Bye, John.
Bye now.
Bye.
Cross carefully.
Cross carefully.
Okay. We're in office, we're in session. Okay, so now we have, sidewalk project, Brooke Road, Mayor Pro Tem Chair.
I just want to let everyone know the project is completed. Mayor and council member James came out today. We did a final walkthrough and it looks really good. There were a couple of things that Councilmember James questioned, and they were totally complete answers. I did put together, and it will remain here in the town hall. I put together a binder of the sidewalk project. It includes the mission statement, it includes the timeline, it includes the contract, it includes the emails that we were doing back and forth. It includes the waivers that we had to have signed for each resident. That's included in here, pictures of the completion of the work. And I have a tab for payment, but believe it or not, they have not even submitted their invoice yet. They will submit their invoice for payment as soon as possible, but they have not submitted their invoice, but the project is totally complete. And I also have a page that says others. I gotta get the tab. Montrese, I'm gonna see if Ms. Montrese can help me. But that's where we had things that were out of their scope, which was the Pepco line that they had to move the pole back so they can actually lay the sidewalk. So that's also in here with the invoice that we had to pay for that. So everything in reference to the description of the pole movement and everything is in this binder. So if anybody, once I finish the tabs and stuff, if anybody want to just take a look at the binder, it's there. And I did, I think, yeah, the contract, everything is there for the project. And it will remain here at the town hall. And I yield. Councilman Gray?
Yes, ma'am. I was there on the walkthrough on the punch list today. And one other thing, Councilwoman Chewy, you would add to the other category, the elevation of the height.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and the location of it, they need to be moved closer to the curb, as well as tipping down. But that's, honest. But they should be, it's not under their feet. Yeah, we have this further work, but this is very noticeable, and it's not clear. How it currently is, things. I mean, that's just something that you need to show me. Your body. And we can visit it.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, then, so, welcome forward, You're forward.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing this, Councilman Shield. I think this would, so yes, this serves as, what should be done for our projects. I think that, a binder should be kept in, that way we will know the process and that all mayor and council have been able to sign off on everything, contract invoices, and everything is legit in terms of our projects. So I move to put a motion on the floor that projects have information that mayor and council can refer to.
Okay, yeah.
Because it will be easier for us, very easy for us to access the information we have for a project. Any questions we have for a project, and to make sure that the process is smooth. Thank you.
You want to?
No, I just a motion is just on the door. Take your time.
Councilwoman Ford. Okay, TA Red,
Motion is to put a binder together for each project.
that's administrative function.
Okay, I know, but we got what she's motioning, I just want to.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so let's be more, yeah, because I'm saying I'm not doing it. So,
Councilwoman,
so, because that's a lot of work for me. I'm not doing that. That's pretty much already on my palette. I got a lot of work I do. So, however y'all want to do it, if it's a council function, if it's a committee function, be more clear. So, for every project,
That's a nice idea. I feel what you're saying.
Councilwoman Chair, Councilwoman Chair.
Go ahead.
yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair Ford. Thank you. Okay, Council Mayor Pro Tem Chair.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really honest. I did a lot of the pictures and got information from the contractor. but TA Ren had a folder that she keep for every project. So the only thing I did was I collected information from her folder, and then any missing information I got from the contractor. I think that regardless of whether you guys want to do it or not, I think that for projects that we have going on in this town, I think we should have some type of documentation or something in place that if it ever comes up, say for instance, they want to do sidewalks, down Tulip Avenue. We can come back and say, hey, we got a project on Brooke Road. Let me look at the book and see who they used, how much it cost, and what was done. And so I think it just gives us a reference to not just maintaining projects, but to help us with future projects. You know, I don't know if this is something I did to help the town. So, I mean, I don't know how you do it, but the TA does keep a record of everything in reference to the project. And it's just a matter of putting things in order and putting them in place. And that's it, you know, I did.
So she's already doing that.
Yeah.
So you're already doing that for all of our projects.
Yeah, so she
Okay.
just had
No,
a
no, she took her stuff and put it in a binder. That's what she did.
Yeah.
So made it pretty.
Right.
But that's my word.
But not so much pretty, but but it can be in a place, the binder could be kept in a place where the TA is not here and her door is locked, and somebody want to see the project, they can always just pull a binder and say, hey, look, I got the binder, blah, 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 blah. So I just think that, I just think that that's a good idea.
And that's okay. I agree with you about that. So what I'm saying is it's an administrative function. TA and Ren is already doing it. So what you're saying basically, with a little more information, you could just put everything in a binder. Yeah, that's what she's saying. She can do that for you. Whether it's your sidewalks, your house. We got it. Okay. Okay. All right. So next we have here. Isn't it good? Yeah. Yeah, she was saying her suggestion was, and it's already being done by TA Ren. She just told us that. So TA Ren will take it and put everything in a binder. She's saying outside of her office so the council can always reference it. And I think that's a good idea, both of you. But it's already being done. It just not has been, as I keep saying, these are my words. It has not been made pretty and put out for council.
This is more than pretty.
That was the, so we are going to do that. So are we, that was the motion. So are we doing that? Because
don't agree with the administrative function. Councilman True, very nicely done. Yes, it's really new reinventing the wheel every time. We just keep the wheel spinning. If TA has that bandwidth or that bandwidth to do it, put together the grinders like that, have it out here or have it in the hallway, we can go pull it and look fine and dandy. But I think, you personally, whoever's in charge of that project, they gotta take the initiative to do some of that labor, and not always say in administration, because they have to do here too. And sometimes can't get things done, we really have seen them in the last 3 weeks. And, they were in the complete second of the report from here to this, here to there. I just don't agree that it's administrative, not certain. If she can do it, fine, but if not, I think the person who's in charge of the project, like, she just to take together. I'm gonna clarify again. She already does it. Let me say it. She already does it. That's why I said that. She just said she already does it. She has it in there. She does the project separately already. She has folders set up in there. So, but there is a motion on the floor. And who seconded it? TA Ren, who seconded it? Call the vote, please.
Okay, Councilmember Emmanuel is absent. Councilmember Anita Anderson. Chairperson Chu.
Yeah.
Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
And the motions to set up a folder. For each spot.
That's public. With the input of the council member who has the initiative. That's all. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yep. I said it better?
Yeah.
That would be better. Okay. Okay, so, plans. We're still doing good considering the agenda. Ford, you got the floor. It don't matter. Ford, we know you, Ford. I gave her 15. You only got 8. Victor gets 6 and 7. I gave you 15. Thank you. All right, don't talk too much. Please, to everybody, please. Ford, go ahead. No, I'm just trying to tell everybody. See, I hear it. I hear it from everybody, not just you. Everybody. Ford, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Council, I just wanted to bring to the table, to get some, bring to the table this topic, Mayor Council accountability, community room use. Just to get some clarification on how we're moving forward with activities that Mayor Council initiated, town initiated, to make sure that we're not that costs aren't incurred on or for projects that helps the town be sustainable. So I'm bringing to the floor. If a mayor and council have an activity for our town, for our residents, for the improvement or the betterment of our town, then there should be no costs related to mayor and council town initiatives. When using the community room. Yeah, that's my spiel. So, I want to make sure that it is clear in the community use, because there are several, activities that's going on. So I didn't see it in the, what we signed. I got it here. Let's see, I want to make sure that it's in there. So even when we're out of office, it's very clear.
Okay, I'm looking at, let me, show me the elephant in the room. Here's what's going on. I looked at the email train that started all of this. And it was about the Toastmasters using the community room. And Councilman Ford is right when she says that if it's a town thing, then there should be, the town should not charge for it. However, there's the elephant in the room. It is continuous and we have got to address this. The town of Capitol Heights has nothing, no oversight with Toastmasters. It has no oversight. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm saying we need to get this and correct this situation. So what we have now is, first of all, I could not find a resolution where the town is sponsoring Toastmasters. I know that Toastmasters was done in 2020. Councilman Ford was the president. I don't know the other officers. And there were 20, in order to fill out the application, you had to have 20 onboard people. One of the things that came up in addition to some of the people, and I have an email here that I got that was sent to me with the names of the people who were not officially on board with their documentation, all of you can look at it, and saying that they were not part of the 20. So actually, it was submitted with 4 or 5 people who said they had never been a part of Toastmasters. And their names were done on certifications. So that is floating around the town. That's how I got it. I don't know, I wasn't on the council, but it's floating around the town. I need all this, I'm asking the council to figure out how we want to do this. Respectfully to Councilman Ford, Mr. Brown is on here, so we can work this out and go forth. It doesn't do good if we can't, we need to move forward with this, but what we need to do is address this elephant in the room. It has been incorporated under community. And it says, I was looking at the charter papers in order to get your charter. It's incorporated under community. I have all these papers here in front of me. Under the community, and also we need to do a resolution on whatever we want to do. We need to do an official resolution. This is the charter application. I've got the Toastmasters and I've got the emails. I've got the certifications of the people who said they are not charter members. I got all that here. I got the emails. I got the checks. All this stuff has been sent to me. This was sent to me not today. It was sent to me a couple of years ago. Because there was a concern about the town. There was no council vote. This is the, I'm told, Councilman Ford can rebut all this. I don't know. But this is the problem. There was no council vote and there was no resolution done. And I cannot find a resolution that puts the town over Toastmasters. So what it is now, Toastmasters is being run by a resident, which is fine. That's fine. That's not the problem. Toastmasters is being led by a resident, not the town administrator, not the government entity that was put on the charter that is supposed to be the sponsor for Toastmasters. So what has to be done? You don't need to do an amendment. It's, I call Toastmasters and I can give anybody that wants, like, oh, I'm on the paperwork here. And there's no problem in that happening. Because it doesn't have to be run by the government. It can be run by a resident. You know, you can set it up as a community. And it can still keep the name Town of Capitol Heights because that is the community. That's fine. But it is not run through a government. That is the situation that's going on here. So I'm asking Councilman Ford, because also insofar as all the rules and the international things, I was looking at all these things that have to be done by the party that is actually running Toastmasters. We don't do any of these things. We do none of them. So I'd like to know if the town is going to be over Toastmasters, I don't like that word, but providing oversight, then we need to do that accordingly, full council vote, do a resolution. If Councilman Ford or whomever wants to do it as a community, still having the name on it. There's no amendment that's necessary. But it is not town affiliated from a government standpoint, if that makes sense to everybody. Councilman Ford. So. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One question, a couple of questions. One first, it was initiated in the last administration and your roughly 4 to 6 but it was something brought forth by Councilwoman Ford, who was the councilman then, and still was a council member, and so it was brought under her purview, number one. So it would be a council initiative. Number one. Number two, so we don't be in an hour and keep this thing a horse too, but not to take anything away from you, Councilman Ford. Then that would, the same would apply for other meetings that are usually felt between room 1 and 2, not just Toastmasters has come up as well, because some some residents have asked the council and she are part of the townhome association. Why can't they meet here as opposed to paying the utilities for and they are residents of this town, they live in the town, and it's part of the town. Why can't they meet a community plan? So I couldn't answer that. So those are my questions to the answer. I guess for you can rule and then that's the first two, and then the last was the other. I think you didn't realize there's no resolution. I thought some of that, right. So you didn't, so in other words, you didn't have a resolution when she did it last, administration board?
No, there,
Go ahead. So, I was asking her for the answer.
Was she? Oh, I'm sorry, you yielded for her. Oh, forgive me, Councilman Ford.
there wasn't a formal resolution, put on the floor. However, we had meetings that should be documented in our minutes. That I've gone over the process and that the administration had accepted this, which is why it was a part of the budget line. Um, Also, the town administrator, I have the bylaws, does include in there, but it is a community flow. And what the community, would provide. And under the communication outreach committee, this was, I initiated it, and the communication outreach committee, supported this effort. So communication outreach funding was used for residents. It was used to cover charter fees for this club. And it's about, I was looking to, but I have all our records, all of our documentation, and we've gone through this lesson and I've supplied all the documentation that was asked for council members last administration. I'm looking at that email, so I could, to clarify that. So I give the floor to Councilman Chair, so I could vote on it.
I have a question now. Because there's a big point to be. The way the community town has developed, the community town for their own home, and it's should be. Why can't they meet here if they are residents? They need to go to residents as opposed to parts of paying from these big roads. Why can't they be here? So that's a question. Now we'll you sure. Something to. So, we talked about it. Matter of fact, I'll get our last one, what we, I don't know what.
That's the stuff. So you got 2 minutes to go. Let me chair. I'm not chair. Don't just stand up, go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Chair.
So at our last meeting, actually, our residents were excited to meet at Oak Crest Rec Center. We meet now at Oak Crest Rec Center. They don't have a problem with that. None of the residents, we have a resident here. None of the residents complain. They like it. They don't have to worry about parking. It's open. And the fact that we are on a time frame that Oak Crest Oak Crest Rec Center, they love it because they said we're in and out and we still get things done. So I don't know if you can give me a list or the names of the people who are complaining, and maybe we can address it with them, because the people who are coming consistently to the HOA meetings, they don't have a problem. We meet up there at Oak Crest Rec Center now, and it's no problem. Okay, so. That's good. I don't think they'll. Okay. It's not my, you can call me person. When related to Toastmasters, I think that for me, I feel like if you're gonna put Toastmasters under the town, then it has to be done correct. We have to establish a resolution. We have to do it the right way. If we're not gonna have it under the town and we're gonna leave it as a community event, then we need to make sure that there's a resolution in place that will relieve our name from under Toastmasters. The Toastmasters was first formed, and I'm not pointing a finger or blaming anyone, but that TA at that point in time that we had, some things expired, where people were given membership to fulfill the roster to establish the Toastmasters, and they never ever went to a meeting. They were never ever, they never wanted to join Toastmasters, but they needed a quota in order to establish Toastmasters, because we had one incident where we was trying to figure out a charge on the credit card. And the charge was, I forgot how much the charge was for. But what they did was they actually canceled it. I think I have an email, they had to cancel that credit card because of the charge that was placed on the credit card for the membership of the Toastmasters. So there's a lot of things that I feel like were put in place at the beginning that was not right for Toastmasters. But I don't have no problem with keeping Toastmasters, but we have to do it the right way. We just can't just keep going on and doing it this way. It has to be done the right way, set up the right way if it's going to go under the town. And if it goes under the town, Todd specifically said to us, anything using the town or the town sponsors has to have a line item on our budget. So even though membership is done online directly to Toastmasters, we have to find, if we decide to take it on, we have to find a way to document that money as a line item on our budget. And you have to document how it's being made to Toastmasters or whatever. You have to do that. That was one of the things that Todd said we had to do in terms of accounting. So whichever way we decide, I think we need to set it up right because it wasn't set up correct when it was first set up. So if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it the right way. And I mean, at least that.
Yeah. How effective is this program? I mean, this is success rate of turning people out that really speaking properly. That's what Toastmasters is about, right? Public speaking. So how effective are we with this program? I guess that I'm told that to my family. How effective is this program?
So the Toastmasters program is, I would say, self-initiated. So it's you get in, you get out what you put in. So the program is made available, the platform is made available to develop communication skills, to develop leadership skills. And so then you would participate in your meetings, you would participate in your speeches, you would participate on taking on leadership roles to have the meeting to be conducted successfully. And so that's what helped brings fruits, right? And you'll see results. The more, or I say practice right, practice perfect. Practice right makes perfect, whatever. But whatever. So whatever my point is, not just practice makes perfect because you can practice something wrong and it is that perfect. But the more that you practice and the more that you participate in the club.
That's not my question. I understand what you're saying, but that's not. My question is, how effective is this program right now as the data? Are we turning out, how many people in town? Are we turning out people that,
Oh, so you're asking for
success rate of the program, pretty much.
Well, like any program, so it is based on people participating and attending. You know how you have people may come for 6 months and then they say, hey, I need to work because I have other priorities. So they take a break. I have taken a break because I had other family priorities and other things I had to do. But however, you return when time allows you to return and you continue to participate. It's better for me to participate on a day that they was having on a Saturday or some Sunday. So what was good then may not be good now. So then that's how the club operates. It's based on your